What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Welcome back, man. Still getting set up a bit here, but welcome. Let me set up one thing here. This was just from a little bit earlier, but it was just kind of crazy to see on the scene. Let's see what
לעבור מעבר לבקסות, תודה. גבר, גם אתה. לעבור, כן. מה שהוא אמר לך מקודם. לא השתנה, תודה.
Haifa live cam. AXN is live. Oh, Iranian celebrating. We got a lot of feeds to check out. AXN is live. What's up, guys? Oh, AXN's out there in California. Beautiful feed, too. Let's get that set up. Let's get AXN. What's up, everybody? Good evening, man. Oh. Do that. Matt, do you need help? What are you doing over there? What are you doing? These kids, you gotta be listening. Tearing up the whole place. What the hell? Okay, let me update this so we can check out AXN. Hopefully this loads right. Okay, let's see. Oh, they're partying. Oh, jeez. Okay, they're partying out there. I wanted to show this Jerusalem strike from earlier. I didn't get to watch it. It was really interesting. And they only showed it for a while. I wish we could have seen more. They stayed out there. Or if we find anybody finds another feed out there. Because they were stricken. Yeah. We'll see how we can do this. All right, everybody. Oh, man. It's been a long day. Let me fix some of this stuff here. We'll get the updates going. Trump did a video, by the way. Trump did a video. About a 6-minute video. We're going to have to check that out as well. Pop out. Free! I don't know why this looks weird to me. Oh, I know why. Damn. Probably should do. Beautiful. Beautiful. You are beautiful no matter what the. Oh man, so did I miss anything all these hours? I actually took a nap. I slept good. That was amazing. Been a while since I had like a good little sleep, even though it wasn't long. This is still not the right setup. Oh, there we go. Okay. I was actually trying to work on this before I came live too. I went for a walk. I did some exercise. I was like, I can't. I gotta get myself together. Perfect. My YouTube doesn't even show you as online. Yeah, I don't know. I noticed that earlier today. Like I typed in Naked Mel and it's like wasn't even showing that I was live. Like you had to keep scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. I'm like, what the hell is going on? I wonder if it's like the war stuff, war coverage. I don't know. So AXN is out. I'm gonna put some labels up on this stuff so you know what's going on the screens. Oh, thank you, Tammy. I will appreciate that. So this here was Jerusalem earlier. Let me check for the updates on that. They said there was multiple injuries, 6 wounded. Ooh, they're saying oil surges and stocks futures tumble. Trump too. I didn't watch the video yet, but apparently he had said there's probably going to be more American deaths. I was like, geez, damn. Okay. That was earlier, just to show a little bit on to see what it looks like on the ground. They got a missile strike. AXN News, he's out in California. Let's label that. Out in California. Too much noise. A lot of people out there in Cali in support. Wow. Iranians celebrate at federal building. Wow, instead of tearing the place down, they're celebrated. I don't know why AXN's volume's really low. It's trying to hear the party out there. Does it really? AXN does? No, really? I've always liked the guy. He's been friendly to me. Never had a problem, you know, but sometimes people, that upsets them when they know, you know? Wow. Westwood, California, AXN. There's a lot of people out there. It's packed. Holy moly. Already celebrating. Maybe he lowered it because of the music and stuff. Trump isn't really... Well, maybe I should watch the video. We're going to watch the video soon. The Trump video. Man, that's just big. How's JLR doing? I saw JLR say that he was talking about something like he's going to be a storm chaser, or I don't know if he's fully switching up or something. Really interesting. Okay, okay. That's it up there. He's probably going to be out there for a while. What was that? Oh. Unplug that. Glitch it out. Well, they're getting hit, man. Iran's fighting back. They're not just taking it. Yeah, there's a ton of AI videos circulating. I believe it. For sure. I wonder if we should get to the Trump video. Let's see. Oh. Starlink. All right, yeah, let's get the Trump video going, load it up, and then I'm going to check for some updates, attacks, everything that's going on. If I have it here. Please remove the apostrophe? Where? Oh. You know, that wasn't his title. I just copy pasted it. Is that incorrect? I'll take it out. You really paid attention. Damn, that's small. I didn't even see that shit. Okay. Mr. Trump. Do I have a bookmark here? Where's Trump talking? Minutes, 2 hours ago. No, I'm trying to get the full video. They're posting clips. Oh, maybe on the White House. What? The apostrophe Mel. Or whatever it is. Okay, here it is. Yeah, Trump posted it. Posted it on the White House page. Let's take a look. There you go.
6 hours, the United States and its partners have launched Operation Epic Fury, one of the largest, most complex, most overwhelming military offensives the world has ever seen. Nobody's seen anything like it. We have hit hundreds of targets in Iran, including Revolutionary Guard facilities, Iranian air defense systems. Just now it was announced that we knocked out 9 ships plus their naval building, all in a matter of literally minutes. Iran's formerly supreme leader, Ayatollah Khamenei, is dead. This wretched and vile man had the blood of hundreds and even thousands of Americans on his hands and was responsible for the slaughter of countless thousands of innocent people all across many countries. Last night, all over Iran, the voices of the Iranian people could be heard cheering and celebrating in the streets when his death was announced.
Let me rewind that when I hear what it said.
Responsible for the slaughter of countless thousands of innocent people all across many countries. Last night, all over Iran, the voices of the Iranian people could be heard cheering and celebrating in the streets when his death was announced. The entire military command is gone as well, and many of them want to surrender into saving their lives. They want immunity. They're calling by the thousands. Combat operations continue at this time in full force, and they will continue until all of our objectives are achieved. We have very strong objectives. They could have done something 2 weeks ago, but they just couldn't get there. Earlier today, CENTCOM shared the news that 3 U.S. military service members have been killed in action. As one nation, we grieve for the true American patriots who have made the ultimate sacrifice for our nation, even as we continue the righteous mission for which they gave their lives. We pray for the full recovery of the wounded and send our immense love and eternal gratitude to the families of the fallen. And sadly, there will likely be more.
Yeah.
Before it ends, that's the way it is. Likely be more, but we'll do everything possible where that won't be the case. But America will avenge their deaths and deliver the most punishing blow to the terrorists who have waged war against basically civilization. They have waged war against civilization itself. Our resolve, and likewise that of Israel, has never been stronger. America is now again the richest, most powerful nation in the world by far. But the only reason we enjoy the quality of life that we do and the freedom and security is we have done things that others are unable to do. But it's because of warriors who are willing to lay down their lives to do battle with our enemies. And they do battle better than anybody. An Iranian regime armed with long-range missiles and nuclear weapons would be a dire threat to every American. We cannot allow a nation that raises terrorist armies to possess such weapons that would allow them to extort the world to their evil will. Not going to let it happen. We're not happening to us, and we're not going to let it happen to others. The United States has the strongest military the world has ever seen. I rebuilt our military in my first term. There's never been a military like we possess. And frankly, there's nobody even close, but we are now using that military for good. We want to have it for good purpose. We're undertaking this massive operation not merely to ensure security for our own time and place, but for our children and their children, just as our ancestors have done for us many, many years ago. This is the duty and the burden of a free people. These actions are right, and they are necessary to ensure that Americans will never have to face a radical, bloodthirsty terrorist regime armed with nuclear weapons and lots of threats. For almost 50 years, these wicked extremists have been attacking the United States while chanting the slogan, "Death to America," or "Death to Israel," or both. They are the world's #1 state sponsor of terror. We are the world's greatest and most powerful nation, so we can do something about what they do. These intolerable threats will not continue any longer. I once again urge the Revolutionary Guard, the Iranian military, police, to lay down your arms and receive full immunity or face certain death. It will be certain death. Won't be pretty. I call upon all Iranian patriots who yearn for freedom to seize this moment, to be brave, be bold, be heroic, and take back your country. America is with you. I made a promise to you, and I fulfilled that promise. The rest will be up to you, but we'll be there to help. Thank you. God bless you to our incredible warriors, and God bless the United States of America. Thank you.
Okay. That's Mr. Trump. Oops. Mr. Trump. There will be more death. You see the cameras, Tel Aviv. By the way, that person, that dude that went on a rampage and shot and killed, I think it was 3 people. And they said that might be like terrorist related or something like that. Check this out. You guys seen the pictures in the thumbnail? The timing can't be coincidence, right? Homeboy, look at this dude. Isn't that crazy? Property of Allah. Allah Akbar. They said also that he had some type of like Iranian shirt or something like that too. I guess this was payback or something. Domestic terrorism. It's being investigated as an act of terrorism. Crazy. Okay, let's see what else. He got off quick. Wow. Let me go through some of the updates. Let's just check this out here. Got to get live on Rumble too, but trying to iron something out. So they're saying Trump returns to D.C. without taking reporters' questions. Stops to admire new White House statues. Oh, damn, hell no. They tried his ass. The statues are beautiful. Unbelievable. Oh, he really said it too? I thought they just got an inference of that because he looked at it. They're saying he actually said unbelievable statues. Look at them. Damn, bro. I guess he appreciates his surroundings. In a little while too, we're gonna do the thing where we check out the videos on X. What's popping off. Let's take a look over here.
There in this energy artery, the Strait of Hormuz, which entails some 20% of that global supply of oil, and concern as that might raise the gas prices, oil prices throughout the globe. Let's take you out to this conversation I had earlier on today exactly about that. 6 hours into this, and a retaliation away at this moment as they threaten the biggest waves yet.
The waves of attacks supposed to be coming.
U.S. military bases. It also attacked shipping and threatened to close the Strait of Hormuz. Obviously, so very pivotal there. That energy artery there in the region. You can see this from G Captain saying the Strait of Hormuz is now a war zone. Tankers hit, 3 U.S. troops killed. The shipping giants have halt Gulf transits, a war risk insurance hold. 20% of global oil supply hangs in the balance, and this is just the first 36 hours of what's going on there. We're going to be joined right now by friend of the program, maritime expert, professor at Campbell University, Sal Mercogliano. Sal, thank you so much for joining us here on Live Now from Vox. Iran threatening to close the Strait of Hormuz. Is it closed now at this moment?
It's not closed right now, Andy, but what we're seeing is kind of a shutdown a bit. What happens right now is ships have pulled up on each side of the strait and they're waiting to go in. Because of the potential threat, ships have to reassess their war risk insurance. This is the insurance you get in case you are attacked on the high seas. And so what we're seeing really is a pause in shipping through the straits right now. While Iran has made overtures to closing the strait, they have not officially closed it. And while we have some attacks, we've seen at least 4 ships hit, and we do have a confirmation of a fatality on one ship. Ocean shipping has not really sailed away from the strait yet.
And how are they managing this? Because obviously we're still very early in this conflict. It could go on, as President Trump said, for some weeks. How are the different shipping companies, different nations managing this and watching this?
Well, right now it's kind of sit back and watch attitude. They're really kind of taking a pause. It's almost like, you're going into a neighborhood and there's shots being fired across the street. Everyone's kind of hunkered down right now to wait and see what happens. Unlike what we saw, for example, with the Houthi down in the Red Sea, there was an alternative route. You could head around Africa. You can all of a sudden go that way, and it was actually economically cheaper to go that way because of the escalating war risk insurance. The Strait of Hormuz is a cul-de-sac. You have to get in there to get not just 20% of the world's oil, but 20% of the world's liquefied natural gas. I mean, sooner or later, ships are going to have to go through here. And this is exactly what we saw happen back in the 1980s during the tanker war, when over 400 vessels were hit and several hundred merchant mariners were killed. Unfortunately, economics is going to play a big factor here. And sooner or later, we're going to see ships start heading back through the straits, whether this conflict has stopped or not.
And how quickly does it happen that obviously some of this goes on? 20% of the world supply of oil there goes through this very narrow channel there. How quickly does it disrupt all of those supply chains?
Well, it's going to have a disruption right off the bat. I mean, I can expect Monday you're going to start seeing oil prices begin to spike. But one of the factors
Venezuela,
we really need to think about is the world supply of crude carriers. These are the large tankers that
I thought we had a deal, the money
is already diminished because of so many of those vessels are in the sanctioned or the dark fleet. They can't do operations around the world. They're really restricted. What this means is already we saw the price to charter these very large crude carriers, these super tankers that can carry, over 1 million or 2 million barrels of oil, expand 3 times from $50,000 a day to $150,000 a day. And so what we can expect to see, unfortunately, is the gasoline market, diesel market is going to react to that, and we're going to start seeing prices come up. Big thing to remember is a lot of that oil that comes out of the Persian Gulf heads to East Asia and South Asia. That's really the big claimants for that oil.
Yeah, I was going to ask you exactly where it comes from and where it goes. Can you get into the specifics just how vital this is and where it starts and where it ultimately ends up?
Sure. I mean, the biggest consumer of it is China. China consumes almost 1/3 of the oil that comes out of the Persian Gulf, and that's a country we're really not talking about a lot here. But they have a massive impact if all of a sudden this oil is choked off from them. You got to throw in there Japan, South Korea, Indonesia, and India in particularly, too, another country that gets a lot of that oil out of that region. Now, several of the countries in the region have some alternatives. Saudi Arabia, the UAE, they have some pipeline systems that allow them to move oil without going through the straits. Iraq can go through their northern pipeline, but the oil in southern Iraq, in Kuwait, in Bahrain, Qatar, and the eastern side of Saudi Arabia and parts of the UAE have to come through the straits of Hormuz. And really the one country that we need to talk about that's going to be the most impacted by a shutting down of the strait is Iran. Iran absolutely needs this oil to flow to fund their economy.
And when we're talking about this, obviously Iran there, Oman on the other side of it, if we're talking about insurance, talking about protection of the strip, who's in charge in that way? Is it the nation that they fly the flag of? Who potentially could be protecting these? And how much is the U.S. kind of monitoring that, potentially protecting some of these ships moving through?
Well, we know that U.S. Central Command through the combined...
Uh-oh. What happened? We lost it.
Sal, you still with
Drone
me?
strike?
We're having a little tech issue right now. All right, it looks like we may have lost Sal, but nope, I think you might be popping back up.
Information Center is having an issue with providing enough assets and security to really escort vessels in. So right now, they're focused on strike missions. They're focused on their ability to attack. Defense of ocean shipping is not really primary yet, and it's really going to depend on how long this operation continues.
Yeah, that is obviously a little bit there of concern. I do want to ask you another component to this, because we're talking about how the U.S. is striking Iran, different targets there in the region. They've also said, this according to the president on social media, that they've informed that they've destroyed and sunk 9 Iranian naval vessels. So that was here on social media about this, and we're going after the rest. They will soon be floating at the bottom of the sea. How prominent of a navy does Iran have, and are ships concerned about them potentially being targeted or kind of in the midst of what's going on with this conflict in a war?
So the Iranian Navy is a very small Navy, but they do have some ability to cause threats, in particularly their submarine force, which is a bit outdated with 3 older Russian Kilo submarines. Their smaller vessels are really more toward harassment. You may remember a few weeks ago that a U.S. flag tanker entering through the Straits of Hormuz came under harassment from the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. That was met immediately by a U.S. destroyer and U.S. aircraft coming overhead. So eliminating the Iranian Navy is a big threat. I think one of the big concerns that if I was concerned about the Iranians closing the straits or interdicting trade is being able to get out there and lay mines. Mines are the ones that are going to be the biggest problem if they ever do that. We saw the use of mines during the very end of the tanker war in the 1980s and led to the damage of U.S. Frigate, the Samuel B. Roberts, and actually led to Operation Praying Mantis, which was the last time the U.S. Navy targeted the Iranian Navy.
I was going to ask you about how Iran would actually close this. You mentioned kind of those assets that they might put out there. Is there anything else that ships, vessels are monitoring in that area?
Well, I mean, you have shore-based missiles, obviously, is going to be a big issue, so they can do those style of attacks. The mines are really the great interdiction operation that comes out, because mines are blind to whoever ships are out there. And it doesn't take actually any mines to create a minefield, just a threat of mines. And then you have to sit there and take the time to get rid of them. And that's a very slow, laborious process. The U.S. and the British have reduced their mine sweeping capabilities. The U.S. have just deployed 3 new littoral combat ships to the area with mine sweeping gear on board. But what the mines would do really is not so much be a threat to shipping as much as slow everything down. And that causes the economic impact to the Western nations and to the, basically the first world, where is very dependent on the export of that oil out of Iran to fuel their economies. And it's a definite last-ditch move by the Iranians to do that. It really depends on how much Iran wants to ratchet this up in terms of the oceanic fight that's taking place right now in the Persian Gulf, the Straits of Hormuz, and out in the Arabian Sea.
How much of it is a priority for the Trump administration, for the United States, for the global world economy to make sure the strait is open? Where does it rank, obviously? How high of a priority should it be?
I think, in terms of our trade, we don't get as much oil from there, almost any right now. We've become very energy independent, which means we don't do it. But the rest of the world, and I mentioned East Asia, South Asia, also Europe gets it. Whenever you cause disruptions in a global commodity market, doesn't matter where it's located, it has an impact globally, and it's going to resonate across that. And so I think for the U.S., it's extremely important to get that pipeline back open into the Persian Gulf, to get the straits clear, to make sure that ships can begin to pass. I expect Monday morning we're going to see very busy work in London and across the world in the maritime insurance offices, getting new insurance brokered for these ships. And I imagine there'll be some coordination with the U.S. Fifth Fleet and commands in that area to start reopening the strait, start sending ships back through.
What signals are you looking for? Because you mentioned some of these ships are sidelined. They're almost kind of put off on the parked on the side of the Strait of Hormuz. What signals are you looking for that you'll see to have them go back and start some of the pathways moving to and fro as they might before? Is there anything that you're keeping your eye on in that regard?
Yeah, watching right now the number of basically empty ships inside the Persian Gulf. There are a large number of ships that come into the Persian Gulf and then they kind of sit and wait to fill up in the berths throughout the Persian Gulf. So as those numbers begin to decline, that becomes a bit of an issue because there's only so much shoreside storage areas to do that. They're eventually going to have to start coming out and start bringing in empty vessels into the area. I'm watching actually the Iranians at the Karg Island facility. They are still loading tankers there. So, yeah. I mean, that tells you right there that they envision that they're going to be able to move oil tankers out in the near future. So really, I expect here in the beginning of the week to start seeing some ship movements through the straits again. Again, the Iranians have not closed it. It's just literally the shipping companies have decided to kind of take a break, wait a minute, let things kind of settle down. Hopefully there'll be a resolution. But if not, they're going to insure themselves and they're going to head through the straits.
Yeah, they might be back to business as usual no matter what else is happening. Sal, anything else you're keeping your eye on? It's so fascinating to talk about this. What else are you monitoring right now?
Well, I think the big issue there was that issue I mentioned to you before about the dark fleet. I mean, you're seeing how the energy market, especially in tankers, is being targeted. The U.S. has seized, over 10 tankers from Venezuela. We've just seen several tankers being seized by France and other countries from the dark fleet. This is a very big issue. There was an interesting move by a company called Sinacor out of South Korea, along with Mediterranean Shipping Company, to really corner the market on VLCCs, these very large crude carriers. And I think this is really raising a lot of people's awareness to how important energy distribution is on the high seas, and why, again, goes back into something President Trump has talked about with the recently released Maritime Action Plan, why the United States really needs to start creating its own domestic fleet, shipbuilding, why it's really a huge national security issue when it comes to ocean shipping.
Yeah, and obviously it takes time to kind of turn out some of those boats and make them viable for the high seas. Sal Mercogliano, thank you so much. I appreciate your insight as always here on Live Now. Hour, some 36. Great conversation. Sal Mercogliano there, a live picture in Washington, D.C. at the White House here on this Sunday. Just about 7:45 there on the East Coast, diving into the latest on all of these facets, the ripple effects, as you might imagine a slight spike in some of those global oil prices. The energy that comes from that region is so vital to so many different economies. The United States, a little bit more independent, so not much oil heading our way from that, but gas prices potentially could be going up as soon as tomorrow and as early as this week. We're also keeping our eye on the retaliation from Iran following this strike, this epic fury. You can see there a live look right now in Rafah in Israel. As you can see, just the dark night sky. It is approaching here almost 3 o'clock in the morning. Still some time for daylight, as we are hearing some new information coming in from the IDF saying the sirens are sounding in northern Israel following projectile fire from Lebanon. And when you're talking about Lebanon, necessarily Iran, you're talking about some of those proxy groups that we have referenced so many times: Hezbollah, Hamas, the Houthis. So obviously.
All right, let me go through some updates and stuff. Let's check it out. So Trump spoke. There was a family of an abducted American says Khamenei's death does not erase what Iran did to our father. The guy's name is Robert Levinson, a former FBI agent who disappeared. Oh, the family of Robert Levinson, sorry. Family of Robert Levinson, a former FBI agent who disappeared in Iran nearly 2 decades ago, praised Trump administration for using the power of the United States to confront Iran and hold it accountable, adding that the death of the Ayatollah does not erase what Iran did to our father, and it does not end our fight for accountability. Now Iran must do what it refused to do nearly 2 decades, provide full accountability for what happened to our father. New York, Los Angeles, and Phoenix increasing security after Iran strikes, including houses of worship and community areas. People are nuts. Look at the guy that shot up. I don't know if, the guy's wearing, I'm assuming it has something to do with this. The guy's motivated by Iran. And we're over here showing up in this shirt, property of Allah. The heck? Allah. So they're increasing security. First U.S. troop casualties. We talked about that earlier. And it's as we kind of talked about, they suspect it was a drone strike in Kuwait. Drone strike. U.S. prepared for retaliation from Iran. There was also explosions in Erbil International Airport. Iraq was going crazy today too. They were going at the U.S. Embassy again. I think we're gonna do browsing videos here soon. Oil prices surge. Oh man. No. What else we got? Celebration. Yeah, we're gonna look at X here too. Oh, these are some nice cams this guy has. Let me see. Tel Aviv, Haifa, Tel Aviv, Jerusalem, Ashkelon, Jerusalem, and a Kotar. We gotta get this one. Oh, who's this? IDF. The IDF is talking. Let's listen. Be quiet.
Of us. This is our backing. You are the secret of our strength. Together we'll be able to meet every challenge. Here with you and update you with every development. Questions? Channel 13. Can you tell us again? Staying in the bomb shelter is still nevertheless a good idea? Yes, absolutely yes. I tell to all Israelis Listen to the instructions of the headquarters of the rear guard. This has been proven. We have the experience. Going into to safe rooms and bunkers. Listen to them. There's no doubt whatsoever. Channel 12. How much time does IDF still needs that you'll really reach all the goals that you wanted to reach and change it's not even a second day. It's not 48 hours yet. We're working non-stop. We have specified goals. We're continuing and deepening the attacks. We will continue until we reach our targets. It will last as long as necessary. Trump says he's willing to have negotiations. If it were to end now, the operation, look, we attacked the terrorist authorities, very difficult attack on them. We have goals. We will continue to act and to intensify the attacks, and also in accordance with instructions. Channel 24. Why the nuclear sites have not been attacked? We have a wide areas of attacks, and I'm not going to divulge here our plans.
Tell us, you guys been putting out videos, 3D diagrams.
We have shown our seriousness, and we will continue doing it. Ma'ariv newspaper. You expect Hezbollah to get into the fight?
Hezbollah.
And might you do a defensive attack, a preemptive attack against Hezbollah in the north? We are prepared and ready. About 100,000 additional reservists have been called to man all our borders.
We're going to take this out too.
Especially about the Hezbollah in Lebanon. If someone would dare to attack Israeli citizens, we will attack them. Without a doubt, we'll attack them with tremendous.
All right, just listening in there to the IDF, providing the latest update right now on those strikes, the retaliation from Iran in what's going on there. A live picture high atop in northern Israel in the Rafah kind of area, potentially some projectiles coming in from Lebanon. Let's take you out right now on the ground from earlier on today. The Israeli foreign minister discussing more. As you can see, 11 people tragically killed in Israel, 3 U.S. service members losing their lives. Let's listen into this.
What you see behind me is the result of the Iranian regime ballistic terror. This is the result of the Iranian regime ballistic terror. As you can see, the ballistic missiles was aimed at a civilian neighborhood. This is a civilian building. We had children inside this building, young children. We had elderly people in this building. One of these elderly people was a woman, an elderly woman, and she lived with a Philippine caregiver. The Iranian regime ballistic missiles murdered this Philippine caregiver. This is what the Iranian regime is
that's
doing.
at that building. That's at that building.
They are aiming at civilians.
Kind of ironic.
They are
they're saying
targeting
that.
Civilian neighborhoods.
For Israel to say that is a little bit ironic.
The complete opposite of what Israel is doing.
Just have to say that.
We are aiming at military targets. But the Iranian regime is targeting our civilians, our children, our women, our elderly. But this is not only happening here in Israel. The Iranian regime is attacking the entire region. 8 countries, I repeat, 8 countries in the region were attacked by ballistic missiles of Iran. Not only Israel. Arab countries are targeted by Iranian regime missiles. And we say it very clear. We don't have any fight, any quarrel with the Iranian people. The only objective, the only quarrel is the Iranian regime murderous attacks. This is what it's all about. Now I'll take some questions, please.
Sikander Kamani from Channel 4 News. Khamenei, the Iranian regime, have clearly done terrible things, particularly to their own people. But your prime minister is a wanted war criminal. You don't have the moral high ground here.
Yo!
This is a war crime.
Yo!
This is a war crime. Targeting civilians.
Hold on. Pimping. Who's that? This guy came and called his ass out. Hold up. Oh my. Oh. Wow. This reporter, because I was saying it was a little ironic. It's a little ironic. You know, y'all just civilians, and that's a horrible thing, but
Repeat, 8 countries
a little ironic
in the region were attacked by ballistic missiles of Iran. Not only Israel, Arab countries are targeted by Iranian regime missiles. And we say it very clear. We don't have any fight, any quarrel with the Iranian people. The only objective, the only quarrel is the Iranian regime murderous attacks. This is what it's all about. Now I'll take some questions, please.
The first question.
From Channel 4 News. Khamenei, the Iranian regime, have clearly done terrible things, particularly to their own people. But your prime minister is a wanted war criminal. You don't have the moral high ground here at all.
This is a war crime.
Yo, he said you don't have a moral high ground here. Your prime minister is a wanted war criminal.
This is a war crime. Targeting civilians, targeting elderly women, killing, murdering her caregiver from the Philippines. And the Iranian regime is targeting not only us in Israel, they are targeting the entire region.
What about the 100 or so schoolgirls in Iran that have been killed in a strike there?
And this must...
Yeah, he called it out. This guy's calling it out, man. Oh. And we still haven't gotten confirmation about that school. Who did it? People believe it's Israel or U.S. Some people are saying it was a dud missile from Iran. He called him out here.
Not only us in Israel, they are targeting the entire region.
What about the 100 or so schoolgirls in Iran that have been killed in a strike there?
And this must stop.
What must stop? Yeah, who blew up that shit with 150 something all-girls school? Why don't we talk about that? Why is it taking so long? Who shot that thing? Who shot that school? Killed all those people?
This must be stopped, and this is what we're trying to do.
Damn.
Next question, please.
That's kind of, that guy called him out. He better have security or something. Hopefully he's all right. I mean, it does sound kind of ironic. Like, October 7th was horrible. It was horrible. People talk about proportionality. But then to be here and like, yeah, they're targeting, innocent, like random, like whatever. And we got this whole mess. It's just, I don't know. It's just, it's like there's no winners here, I guess. But it means there's so many people dead. In Gaza, it's never stopped and it's still going. And now, today was a hit. Today was a blow for Israel and the U.S. We lost some people, the biggest so far in this particular incident. And then Trump said that like all the commanders are out. All the commanders are removed. Okay, so who the hell is shooting this stuff and killing people?
But what about those Iranian
Let's allow others.
I'm
from INS News Agency from India.
You just ignored him. That guy was savage. That guy was savage.
My question is, how many people have been injured or affected?
Okay, let me just reset this.
In this building, like I said, one Philippine woman was murdered and dozens were injured. And unfortunately, this is not the only case. All of you were rushed into shelter. They didn't see it in your video camera, but you know that you were targeted. You were targeted by Iranian regime attacks. So this must stop. Please.
This is Aditya Raj call from NDTV. What does the future look like? You wanted a regime change in Iran, and you have neutralized the supreme commander. But do you really feel that the regime change is really realistically possible? Or will this actually lead to a regional conflict that is forever ongoing?
Prime Minister Netanyahu was very clear on this. The objective of this operation is to remove an existential threat from the Iranian regime. And we will do this operation in order to meet this target. And we will be enabling condition for the Iranian people to make their fate better and to be free. Please, please.
What's your reaction to our Arab allies being struck in this conflict? And is Israel sending any personnel to assist with civil or military defense there?
Very important question. And I think the fact that Arab countries, Arab allies were targeted just goes to show that the Iranian regime doesn't only pose a threat to Israel. It doesn't only pose a threat to the region, to those Arab countries that you mentioned. It poses a threat to the entire world. And by the way, I've just seen a statement given by the Defense Ministry of the UK saying that Iranian targets already made their way to Cyprus. So this is a danger, not only to Israel, not only to the world, not only to the region, but also to the world. We are doing everything possible to meet the objective of this operation, and this operation is working and happening hand in hand, together, shoulder to shoulder with our American friends, and we are grateful to the American President, Donald Trump, for his leadership and being here in this moment, working together to achieve these goals. So I'm not familiar with the details. I understand that this is under a check, but I will tell you this, that the Iranian regime has been known to fabricate, to produce fake information for propaganda purposes. So you need to keep this in mind.
Well, we can see the scene.
Okay,
We can see
please,
the children's bodies.
please. Another question, please. Okay. Yes, please.
I'll try. Do you think this is gonna resolve the issue? Is the roaring lion, we got the rising lion, the roaring lion, is this gonna do it?
The idea, the objective, is to remove this existential threat. And yes, I'm certain that at the end of this operation, this threat will be removed. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
All right, you're just listening in there to one of the Israeli officials talking about what's unfolding there in their region as Iran retaliating following these strikes. Also noting some of the important issues that Iran also targeting neighboring allies in that region. So it could complicate the entanglement there. Also, as well, a live picture right now in northern Israel at the Rafah region, as we were just hearing that potentially there could be some projectiles being fired in that region. You can see there from the IDF as the saying sirens sounding in northern Israel following projectile fire from Lebanon. And that could certainly mean a myriad of different things, as our Fox News' Trey Yinks reporting, talking about Iranian proxies. That is also a concern. We talk about Hamas, the Houthis, Hezbollah. Let's listen into this as he is watching it unfold on the ground.
First time since this conflict erupted, rockets were fired from Lebanon into Israel. Sirens were sounding in the northern city of Haifa, Israel's third largest city, sending people into bomb shelters. The Lebanese militant group that is backed by Iran, its largest proxy, Hezbollah, has not claimed responsibility, but they are the organization that has thousands of rockets and missiles still in their arsenal. The IDF will likely respond by striking targets inside Lebanon. They have already systematically been targeting Hezbollah over the past several months after an agreement went into effect in November of 2024, following a direct confrontation between Israel and Hezbollah. But again, the latest information that we have, rockets were reportedly fired into the city of Haifa from Lebanon. And remember that given the range of these rockets, these are not coming from
You getting off?
communities. That territory was cleared out by the Israeli military during their operation.
All right. Trey Yinks there reporting for Fox News on the ground in Israel as we're hearing more about a
still on. I thought he got off.
retaliation and also centers around the
he got
power
off.
vacuum that now exists in
Power
Iran
vacuum. I want to fix
following
this
the United States
grid.
taking out the supreme leader, the Ayatollah Khamenei, there for Iran and the Iran IRGC. You can see looking live there at Tel Aviv here on this Sunday evening as they are just about 3 in the morning, just past 3 o'clock into the morning, and concern over that as the Iron Dome obviously not 100% as they've seen some issues and casualties already, civilian casualties of note in that region. So we're following it closely here on Live Now from Fox. We're also watching the latest unfold of this Operation Epic Fury, some 36 hours since it originated early Saturday morning. The United States and Israel taking out the Ayatollah, striking different nuclear capabilities, ballistic missile sites there in the heart of Tehran. For more on this, let's go out to Fox News with this report on where we stand right now.
This guy's a better camera here.
It's day 2 of U.S.-Israeli airstrikes in Iran, with violence now spreading across the Middle East as Tehran regroups and vows revenge after the killing of its supreme leader.
We are defending ourselves, and we have every right.
Amazon data center was on fire? Really?
To defend ourselves. What the United States is doing is an act of aggression.
Sunday, all sides traded strikes, with missiles targeting Tehran after retaliatory strikes hit multiple locations in Israel.
Break here in a second to the clips online.
Rockets struck American military installations.
Oh, that's skyline. Oh, that's from Dubai. That looks pretty.
War for the sake of war.
Oh, let's check out Dubai too.
Strategic war in order for once and for all to stop this enormous, horrendous bloodshed of terror.
In a post online, President Trump revealed U.S. strikes destroyed 9 Iranian naval ships and largely destroyed Iran's naval headquarters. So far, at least 3 U.S. service members have died in the attacks.
We pray for the full recovery of the wounded and send our immense love and eternal gratitude to the families of the fallen.
Oh, that sounds like something shooting.
Meanwhile, here at home, much of the nation remains on high alert, with an overnight shooting in Austin, Texas now being investigated by the FBI after a gunman opened fire outside a bar, killing multiple people and injuring 14 others.
There were indicators that on the subject and in his vehicle that indicate potential nexus to terrorism.
In New York, Gurnal Scott, Fox News.
Thank you so much for that. And obviously a lot still left to unfold in this, as President Trump warning that it could last some 4 weeks. Also noting that there were 3 service members tragically killed, saying likely that number will grow as this conflict continues.
We got the skylines open. I was trying to get some things in the background fixed to run this stuff. All right, I'm gonna check for more updates, and we're gonna get a setup for X. I think I need a uniform place where people send me stuff, because it's like a lot of the time it's all over the place, and I have multiple emails, and then there's Discord and X, and I just never see the stuff.
This development of Operation Epic Fury as the U.S. and Israel striking at the heart of Tehran, striking and eliminating the supreme leader, the Ayatollah there. We're looking live right now in Tel Aviv as the retaliatory strikes, the U.S. and Gulf allies continue to condemn them following some of these strikes in other neighboring countries against some of their allies, also concerned about the civilian population. Let's continue on here on Live Now from Fox and bring into the conversation from Jinsa, the CEO and President Michael Makovsky. Michael, thank you so much for joining us here on Live Now from Fox. And without the Ayatollah, the IRGC, without a true leader, there potentially is a power vacuum there. What are you watching, and how might this unfold over the next few weeks?
Hi. First of all, thanks for having me. Look, what I'm watching is to see if the regime's policies are going to change, and I think it's highly unlikely, just because the supreme leader, is no longer with us, that it's going to change right away. It might not change at all, but it does. I think it does create that, and killing the senior leaders that would have also been killed by the U.S. and the Israelis, have clearly created problems for the Iranians, and certainly in how they're conducting the war at a minimum.
Yeah, that is so very true, and obviously regime change potentially one of the objectives for the United States, for President Trump.
Let me start pulling up the post.
Is there concern in your eyes of what comes next? Who is now in charge of Iran, that it leaves the region to stabilize?
Right. So, and if I may, we've been calling for what we call regime collapse for many years now, because we think the way this would play out is that you put a lot of pressure on the regime, and the people need to bring it down, and that's kind of how we still think about it. And I think that's how Trump.
Okay, let's check
President
out.
Trump has been thinking about it.
I'm just about
we have
done
to
with
weaken
this.
The regime. But look, by this war, I think it's a bit of a crapshoot about how this is going to play out. It's very possible that we might end our military campaign, and the regime is still in power, but it doesn't mean it's going to stay in power.
Isn't that crazy?
A long time, but it's very possible. It's impossible to game this out. There are a lot of ways it could go. Some people think maybe with the IRGC, Islamic Revolutionary Guard, if they have more control, as hard as it is to believe, it's possible maybe the policy of the regime gets even more radical. It could also go the other way. You really don't know, but what you do know for sure is the regime is weaker now, and they seem to be making mistakes in their conduct of the war. And I think President Trump is correct. We got to weaken the regime. We got to take out, we got to degrade more of their nuclear facilities, the missile facilities, destroy their Navy, and really weaken them to help facilitate the people to bring it down. When that is, we don't know.
And you mentioned some of one of those kind of impacts of what's going on now in the war without a leader is the fact that they're attacking neighboring countries in that region. What does that signal to you?
You remember Terminator 2 at the end of the movie? It reminds me a little of that, when the bad Terminator, I forgot how they refer him to, he falls into that very hot pit, and he starts splashing around and goes. It makes me think a little of that here, that they're not doing well, and they're just kind of striking out. I think what their intent is to try to impose more of a cost on the United States. But I think based on what we've seen so far, it's having the opposite effect, that it's leading these countries in the Gulf that were staying out of this war to want to get more involved on America's side. And it might have helped bridge the rift that we've seen in recent months between the Saudis and the Emiratis. But I think what I said initially is what it was. They're trying to impose a cost, but I think so far it seems to me what we could see, it's been counterproductive by the Iranians.
Yeah, obviously killing civilians, including there in Israel. And I just want to put up a shot from northern Israel as different reports from the IDF talking about there were sirens sounding, potentially projectiles from Lebanon, and that might indicate that some of those proxy groups, the Hamas, the Houthis, the Hezbollahs of the world, might getting involved. Does that signify something to you, the fact that some of these proxy groups are now getting involved, that they could have stayed out of this, but now they're involved very much?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, it's maybe a little hard for us in America to fully appreciate it, but I've talked to people in Israel, and they're just running the sirens. I mean, they're running the shelters because the sirens have been going off. Unfortunately, there was a hit where there was I think 9 people killed today in Beit Shemesh. and there was some destruction yesterday in Tel Aviv. But it's obviously very disruptive. But about the proxies, about Hezbollah, and I was just seeing before we got on together, they fired, because obviously the Iranians are putting pressure for them to fire, because, you know, and they were created. Hezbollah in Lebanon was created by Iran, and their whole purpose is to defend Iran. And and then when Israel did the 12-day war last year, with America coming to the end, they didn't do anything. So now they're doing a little, and now it's just giving an excuse for Israel to just, I think, kind of hammer them hard now.
Yeah, that is potentially true, as we're seeing kind of the counterattack by Iran, and you can imagine the barrage from the United States and Israel moving forward. I do want to ask you, because potentially with this, as you call it, the regime collapse, is there still a window of opportunity for diplomacy, for a potential deal over nuclear? Because that also at the center of this. The United States doesn't want them to have any nuclear capability. Is there a possibility that there's windows for talks, for negotiations at all?
There certainly is, especially with President Trump, who is always willing to talk to almost anybody and always willing to cut a deal if he thinks it's a good deal for the United States.
Let's see.
He said he'll talk to the regime. Who he'll talk.
So I want to check out this page that posts pretty frequently. And he had said that Israel missiles strike Lebanon's capital. No audio, I guess, but it was a couple minutes ago posted. I'm gonna check and see if we got official updates about that. Justin, major explosions hit center of Tehran. I wonder if there's probably not anybody, I mean not body, but cams out there. Wow.
Holy shit.
Wow.
Oh my god. I don't know what that fucking thing is, but sounds like hell.
Damn.
Holy shit.
No way, that's a real picture?
Holy.
Oh wow, look, that does look pretty intense. I gotta keep an eye on this person here too. This person said a picture sent to us by a trusted local from Tehran. So that, yeah, because they have an internet blackout. Internet blackout going on right now over there. Ooh, look at that. What else should I posted? They did say Tehran was going to get hit. And I guess we're going to have to stick to probably, because I wish we had like some live cams out there. Tehran. Okay. Let's see what else we got. Let's see. I want to see some of the latest posts here. Hezbollah issues a statement taking responsibility for the missile and drone attacks on northern Israel. Just in U.S.-Israel airstrikes destroy Abbas Abad police station in Tehran. Some more of the destruction. Wow, check this out. Hold on. Watch two U.S. fighter jets take off a USS Abraham in the Arabian Sea overnight to conduct strikes. Let's take a look at that. Well, I think one of these things are too loud. Turn it down a little bit. Okay. Let's check this out here. They had live cams earlier? Really? If you know any good cams, send it to me. Check official updates. Let's see. It's kind of a little quiet tonight. Came on during the quiet time. On the night shift. Let's check the official updates. No. Attacks on Gulf countries underscore the threat posed by Iran. Iranian security advisor says. Trump says Iran conflict could last 4 weeks. That's a long time. I guess in the context of war, maybe that's not long. Israel intercepts projectile launch from Lebanon. UAE Jordan summon Iranian officials after attacks on major Gulf travel hubs, even the travel places. UK authorizes US to launch strikes from Iranian missile sites from British bases. Oh, Stama! I can't believe that, Stama. Wow. What in the hell, Stama?
I've never heard of this fucker before.
He's got his bullocks for the first time ever. Stama. I cannot believe it. Wow. Got a set of bullocks now. Implants. Can't be real ones. Got to be implants. UK grants permission. Wow, Mia. That's big. I don't know if I'd take it though, but nah, I'm good. Just to be petty. Nah, I'm good, man. Y'all keep y'all shit. I'm good. I don't need that, y'all. Okay. Betty.
Killed in action. As one nation, we grieve for the true American patriots who have made the ultimate sacrifice for our nation, even as we continue the righteous mission for which they gave their lives. We pray for the full recovery of the wounded and send our immense love and eternal gratitude to the families of the fallen. And sadly, there will likely be more. Before it ends, that's the way it is.
That's the way it is.
Be more, but we'll do everything possible where that won't be the case. But America will avenge their deaths and deliver the most punishing blow to the terrorists who have waged war against basically civilization. They have waged war against civilization itself. Our resolve, and likewise that of Israel, has never been stronger. America is now again the richest, most powerful nation in the world by far. But the only reason we enjoy the quality of life that we do and the freedom and security is we have done things that others are unable to do. But it's because of warriors who are willing to lay down their lives to do battle with our enemies. And they do battle better than anybody. An Iranian regime armed with long-range missiles and nuclear weapons would be a dire threat to every American. We cannot allow a nation that raises terrorist armies to possess such weapons, would allow them to extort the world to their evil will. Not going to let it happen. We're not happening to us, and we're not going to let it happen to others. The United States has the strongest military the world has ever seen. I rebuilt our military in my first term. There's never been a military like we possess. And frankly, there's nobody even close, but we are now using that military for good. We want to have it for good purpose. We're undertaking this massive operation not merely to ensure security for our own time and place, but for our children and their children, just as our ancestors have done for us many, many years ago. This is the duty and the burden of a free people. These actions are right and they are necessary to ensure that Americans will never have to face a radical, bloodthirsty terrorist regime armed with nuclear weapons and lots of threats. For almost 50 years, these wicked extremists have been attacking the United States while chanting the slogan, "Death to America" or "Death to Israel," or both. They are the world's #1 state sponsor of terror. We are the world's greatest and most powerful nation, so we can do something about what they do. These intolerable threats will not continue any longer. I once again urge the Revolutionary Guard, the Iranian military, police, to lay down your arms and receive full immunity or face certain death.
Give up.
It will be certain death. Won't be pretty. I call upon all Iranian patriots who yearn for freedom to seize this moment, to be brave, be bold, be heroic, and take back your country. America is with you. I made a promise to you, and I fulfilled that promise. The rest will be up to you, but we'll be there to help. Thank you. God bless you to our incredible warriors, and God bless the United States of America.
All right, just listening in there to President Trump talking about this, saying that the United States will avenge the loss of those 3 U.S. service members killed there in the Middle East following these attacks on Iran. He also said, quote, "Sadly, there likely will be more from this extended conflict, Operation Epic Fury, unfolding over the last several days." So now just some 36 hours since what happened there in the heart of Tehran, cutting off the head of the snake, so to speak, with that the Ayatollah, the supreme leader of Iran. A live picture right now as well in northern Israel as we're following the latest. The IDF also showcasing and saying that sirens are sounding following a projectile fire from Lebanon, potentially from Hezbollah, one of those Iranian proxy groups that we talked about so much over the last several years, and a potential kind of bookend right now to what's going on with the October 7th attack. We followed that very closely here on Live Now from Fox, and it was a barrage of missiles coming from the United States over the last several days as the U.S. and Israel pounded targets across Iran on Sunday, dropping massive bombs on the country's ballistic missile sites and wiping out warships as part of an intensifying military campaign. Those blasts, they rattled windows across the country, set plumes of smoke high into the sky. More than 200 people have been killed since the start of the strikes that killed Khamenei and other senior leaders. Iran has vowed to retaliate, firing missiles at Israel as well as other different Gulf states in a counteroffensive that the U.S. military said resulted in the death of 3 service members, the first known American casualties from the conflict. The Israeli Rescue Service said strikes had hit several locations, killing 9 people, bringing the total in that country to 11. I'm Andy Mack. Let's slide away for a quick break.
All right. Yeah. All right. Censorship of strike footage? Huh? Oh. Oh. End of time. Let's see what that is. End of time. Let's see. Damn. Freestyle. Damn. Boom. Oh, there they go, up in the air. Crazy. Let's see if we find some more recent stuff too. Oh, more stuff. Okay. New footage of Israeli raids on the southern suburbs. Let's check that out and see.
هيدي الضربة أول ضربة هيدي تاني ضربة هون الله أكبر.
Damn. Let's see this guy. Oh, where's that guy? Here we go. He's good to follow. Update. More terrorist attacks in homeland. 13 people shot. The Ohio thing, I wonder what that was about. I don't know if it has anything to do. I heard about that last night too. I don't know if these people are going to be emboldened. Let's see this guy's page. Mario. The U.S. is making the same mistake with Iran that destroyed Ukraine's counteroffensive. What are they talking about?
What is the biggest risk for the U.S. right now militarily when it comes to Iran? Is it a hypersonic missile targeting the aircraft carriers? Is it the Iranian drones, sea drones targeting the fleet? Is it the ballistic missiles, a big barrage of ballistic missiles targeting the U.S. bases? Or is it the strategy of targeting U.S. allies and maybe eventually oil refineries in the Gulf, and then Gulf nations pressure Trump?
Can we say all of the above? You've given a great summary of what, you know, it's not just one, it's all of those. So we found out today that Iran is deadly serious about shutting down oil coming out of the Straits of Hormuz. So will it I doubt it would target or challenge Chinese tankers. Bless you. Tankers that are headed to China. But for U.S. and Europe, they're not getting out of the Gulf. So we'll have to wait. You know, the markets are supposed to open up here in Asia in about 2 hours, 2.5 hours. So we'll see. We've got an early warning sign of what is this doing, not just to the oil market. I suspect that, you know, we're going to see oil spike up $20, maybe more. And so that is going to that's going to be an economic shock for the world. Commodity prices on gold and silver, those are likely also to continue to skyrocket. So the economic spillover of this is going to be significant. And what Iran is now doing in decimating the U.S. bases in these various countries. You know, the Gulf Arabs, the Saudis, the Kuwaitis, the Bahrainis, the Qataris, and the Emiratis, they've gotten away with basically giving the United States carte blanche to do what they want in the region. And Iran warned, don't do this. And, you know, the United States and Israel, they launched an unprovoked attack. You know, it'd be one thing if Iran had been out, you know, refusing to negotiate, refusing to make any compromises on some issues. But instead, it was the West that didn't want to take yes for an answer. And Trump foolishly believes that the United States has this massive military power that we can sustain operations. right now that U.S. aircraft carrier, the Gerald Ford, it's going to have to pull out within a week or two, and then they got to bring the George H.W. Bush over, I guess, to replace it. Same ditto for the Lincoln. It's got a limited power. The air defense missiles, those are in limited supply. If you watch what Israel's been firing, good Lord, it looks like they're firing 100 to 200 Patriots a day right now, and they're mostly ineffective. The United States only produces between 700 and 800 Patriot missiles a year, not a week, not a month, a year. So if Israel is using up, let's say 100 a day, because they'll fire 2 Patriot missiles for every single inbound Iranian target, well, just do the math. If they're firing 100 a day in 8 days, they've used, in literally a little more than a week, they've used up an entire year's supply. And the United States doesn't have great reserves.
I've heard of that issue of munition depletion, U.S. munitions being depleted. It's been talked about for a long time now, since the Ukraine war. But then why would the U.S. get into this war? And now Trump is talking about this war lasting a month if the munitions don't allow him to sustain it.
You're making a great assumption, and I admire your optimism. I call it the optimism of youth, that there's rational thinking and planning going on. I mean, yeah, you're not some great military expert, but you understand it. It's very simple. This is not complicated. And yet in their arrogance, they just keep telling themselves, oh, we got the greatest military ever. No, we got the most expensive military. We're far from the greatest. It's been a long time since the United States has actually won a war against somebody who could fight back. And that's the real danger here with Iran's strength, is that they've got these massive underground cities, missile cities they're called. Now, the United States has destroyed quite a few of the launchers. They've got mobile, they had some fixed site launchers, those have been destroyed. But Iran's now moving around with mobile launchers, and that's going to be more difficult for the U.S. to find, locate, and destroy simply because they are mobile. And that was the same problem the U.S. ran into in Yemen back in March of 2025. It's because it's one thing to have a satellite system to say, okay, at this geo coordinate, we can see this launcher. Let's go there. Well, you order an airplane or a cruise missile, there's a time distance problem. It's not, Star Trek where it instantly appears. It has to fly there. Well, as it's flying there, time passes. Say 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Well, the idea of a mobile launcher is you set up, you launch, and you boot and scoot and take off. And so all of a sudden we get there to blow it up and it's gone. And we've seen this repeatedly going back to, good Lord, 36 years ago to the Gulf War in Iraq. We couldn't Scud hunters couldn't find them.
Yeah. Opium. I don't know. I mean, some of the people that I watched, it's like they think that we couldn't take the country or something, and that we're limited supplies, and this is going to do some, at least in the, like some type of harm to us. I mean, I don't know the long-term effects, but like Iran itself. Breaking footage reportedly shows strikes hitting Kala, Daraa, area of Tehran as bombardment in the Iranian capital continues. The Iranian capital, Tehran, is getting bombed as Netanyahu said they would do. Let's take a look at this.
یکی دیگه اومد. Oh fuck! 3 2 1 یکی دیگه اومد. Oh fuck! 3 2 1
Wow. Smoke rising from Beirut. Yeah, I think we saw the smoke earlier. Cool. Strikes hitting IRGC weapons warehouse.
موشک زدن بعد آتیش روشن شد همینطور ترکشاش داره تو آسمون ول میشه. نگاه کن ترکشا رو میبینید؟ معلوم چیان. سمت پردیس.
Wow. Not gonna be anything left for these guys.
امید انبار مهماتی چیزی زدنه. یه دونه 2 تا موشک زدن بعد آتیش.
Cheap drone, $1 billion damage. A single Iranian drone reportedly took out a $1 billion U.S. radar in Qatar. One small low-cost drone versus massive high-tech defense shows how little Allah can do. Maybe that goes back to that argument. How little Allah can do.
Not only on the stock market, but those inflation numbers from last week, SCOTUS striking down tariffs, feels to be piling up. How much pressure is there on them in terms of those kind of factors in the economy?
Right. I think there's a lot of pressure, right? I mean, I think that the last couple of weeks, the message that's really emerged when poll after poll sort of showed people thought that the prices were too high and that, you know, that Trump really wasn't doing a lot to sort of improve the sort of kitchen table issues and to make the cost of living more affordable. They would say, well, look at the stock market, right? Look at your 401k. You know, that both are doing really well. And you know, he tells stories about, you know, riding past gas stations in his motorcade when he goes to campaign in different states and seeing gas prices come down. You know, all of that is potentially a jeopardy, as you mentioned. You know, volatility in the oil market can very well affect the stock market as well. And, you know, the longer this conflict goes on, you know, like I say, we don't know what's going to happen, right? And there could be a ceasefire relatively quickly and maybe this all is behind us. But, if this turns into a sort of projected, fight in Iran and across the region, that's more instability. And that could certainly send sort of shockwaves through all kinds of markets. Not the kind of thing you want to campaign on going into the midterm for the Republicans.
The longer it takes is kind of the term that maybe we're leading on, because 4 weeks is just the timeline, because you have no idea the indefinite nature of this as he campaigned so fervently on no forever wars. If we're sitting in a similar position in 2 weeks, how much is President Trump sweating about this? How much concern is there looking back on the decision that was made?
Right. Well, and, the reporting that we have and others have gotten as well is that there really was not a lot of discussion about sort of what happens next, right? I mean, I think that they were very concerned about the possibility of Iran obtaining a nuclear weapon. They wanted to sort of send a decisive message to end that and also to have Iran take the talks more seriously, right? There were talks going on, but the president didn't feel like they were sort of the sense of urgency that it needed to be. I don't think they expected to take out the Supreme Leader as quickly as they did. That was certainly
Supreme Leader, one strike.
From the White House perspective, that was an unexpected but a big victory. But it's a question of, as you point out, this could just be the beginning, and I think that there will be more questions, and frankly, they're not going to be easy to answer as we go forward.
I want to ask you, because now we know Operation Epic Fury underway, but potentially there is the objective of this is to get rid of that nuclear program, to never have that. They obliterated it last year, now potentially considering it again. Is negotiation, is a deal potentially still in the possibility for President Trump? Would the White House be open to that still, or is that window closed?
Oh, well, I think they are open. I mean, President Trump has made clear in the comments when he's picked up his cell phone, right, that he says that he's willing to talk to the new leadership, even though we don't know exactly what the leadership of Iran looks like. Even though we don't know who ultimately might end up in power, it is at least possible to imagine that new person or that new regime or a group of people maybe backing off, right, and capitulating to demands and saying, look, we're going to abandon the enrichment part of this, and nuclear power for civil purposes, we could maybe obtain through other means, and we don't need to sort of work towards a weapon. That's certainly a possibility. That that would be a positive outcome for the White House for sure. But that's a lot of steps that we just talked about. And right now we still got active fighting, right? So even if there's a discussion, discussions are ongoing, they're certainly not going to be easy, and they're going to be more complicated than they were before.
The levers of pressure might be more on Iran right now, but if we're talking 2 weeks down the road, it might be on the White House to try to make a deal. So this is not one of those extended wars. Will, anything else you're keeping your eye on? Obviously heading into a new week. This happened all early on Saturday. Now we're 36 hours later. What are we looking at this week? Anything on Trump's schedule? Anything else you want to know?
Yeah, I mean, he's got a Medal of Honor ceremony that was previously scheduled for tomorrow, right? And so we might get comments about the service members who were killed and wounded in this particular action there. He's also supposed to meet with the German Chancellor on Wednesday. And, you know, he has a lot of sort of private policy meetings already scheduled. You know, this is certainly going to be a continued topic of conversation. And I'll be really interested to see if he does come out and speak to reporters and answer questions, or if we get an address to the nation. Because, you know, even looking back to the State of the Union, a couple days before that, he also kept a low profile, and then he kept a low profile sort of last week. You know, we had the event in Texas, and he spoke to reporters on the lawn before he left, took some questions about like Iran and Cuba and Ukraine and a couple other issues. But, you know, they've been very careful to simply just talk about this in video messages where he can control the narrative. You know, the longer we get into this, the harder that's going to be control. And the other thing is we'll start to see, you know, more reliable polling, right, on what people feel on how this is going. And he'll probably want to address that as well.
Yeah, not really that public, which is not unlike presidents, but very unlike or unusual for this president, President Trump, not being in the public spotlight, especially after such a high-profile event and incident there in the Middle East. Will Weiser, thank you so much. I appreciate your time reporting on Live Now.
Thank you for having me.
All right, thanks so much. All right, great conversation, as always, dissecting the latest. President Trump did return to the White House tonight. No real comments to reporters about what unfolded there with Operation Epic Fury. A live look right now there in Tel Aviv here on this is now it's Monday morning there in Israel. Many Matt, get back after this.
I don't know what I'm doing. Pams. All right, let's see what's going on, man. Let's see what's going on. Let me get a little more focus. I'm going to launch Rumble. I never got to launch Rumble. I want to see, like, live cams out of Tehran, but I guess the blackout. I mean, and people are sending in pictures and stuff like that. Let's see if maybe we can check out some more pictures from Tehran. We ain't got no problems. Okay. Dubai. Check out Mario, the Farquhar Network. What else is going on over there? A short while ago, the IDF precisely struck a senior Hezbollah terrorist. The Beirut area. Additionally, the IDF struck a central Hezbollah terrorist in southern Lebanon. A protester in the front of the Green Zone, Iraq, seen shooting towards the security cordon. It would be interesting if we can get an Iraq cam too. Iraq was crazy. By radar. Let's see what cams we got available. Second day of war. Let's see what kind of... Oh, he put Ukraine camps. Okay, okay. Al Jazeera. You guys want to hear propaganda? Al Jazeera.
In the US, this is going to be a nightmare, isn't it?
Iran Sunday.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
They have
I mean,
some
it's
clips.
something that they have been warning about for months, if not years. In fact, the reason why after 2019 and then 22, 23 with the Saudi-Iranian rapprochement, you saw Gulf countries going in the direction of sort of looking for ways to coexist with the Iranians, because they kind of could see that certainly with the return of Trump to the White House, if there was a conflict between U.S. and Iran, they were going to be frontline states. That's exactly what they've become. But in terms of what the Iranians are doing, nothing is surprising here. They telegraphed this for weeks, for months. They said, including mentioning cities like Dubai, like if we are going to be fighting for our survival, we have nothing in terms of red lines. Everything is possible. The other way they look at it is the following: the regionalization of this conflict. The regionalization of this conflict is something they have been banking on for some time. This is why you see perhaps what you were discussing earlier with Hezbollah missiles. Who knows, maybe the Houthis are going to enter into this. Others, we've seen some Iraqi militias are speaking the language of joining this fight. So the regionalization, again, is aimed for one thing, because they fundamentally think Trump isn't in this for a long haul. So how do you get him off? Well, you scare him into...
They got the Pegasus up in the air. Boeing KC-46A Pegasus flying out of Tel Aviv. Oh, they have two big planes out there, military. The Stratotanker and this other one. I'm curious what this plane does. The specifics. Boom, boom, boom. Let's see. Haifa, Jerusalem, Beirut, Tel Aviv. We need somebody like in the war zone with a Starlink and a battery pack, a sun solar powered devices. Yeah, let's find out about this plane in the air. Okay, let's find out about that. Let me show you guys on the map what I'm looking at. Going back out to the ocean, Tel Aviv. This is the Pegasus right up ahead. Let me see what it says about the Pegasus. Oh, it's a refueling aircraft also. Primary role, refueling, replenishing fuel for U.S. fighters, F-15, F-16, F-22, F-35, bombers, B-52, B-1, B-2. Transport planes, C-17 and C-130. So it allows strike aircraft to stay airborne longer and fly farther. Can refuel two. Damn, that's crazy. It can refuel two at the same time. Can refuel two aircraft at once. Carries 212,000 pounds of transferable fuel. Yo, that is sick. You want to see a video of that? Whoa. I want to see the Pegasus do that. Let me see. Pegasus refueling. Is it like just on autopilot? I wonder if there's any video of them doing two crafts at once.
KC-4.
Yes. I wonder if it's like not worth it. Is it dangerous? Like you can do it, but it's probably not advisable, or it doesn't matter. You can do it. I just took it left like I'm ambidex. What else? What other flights are they tracking? Oh, we got some more out in the ocean. Oh, there's a Globe Master too. Is that another refueling one? Let's take a look. We got the Globe Master out there. Boeing official refueling demo. Let's see if we can find a video. Pegasus refueling demonstration. Is that an air show? Let's see. Shit. Let's check this out.
As I mentioned, the KC-46, based on the Boeing 767-200 series. Basic crew is 2 pilots and a boom operator. And on this first pass, you're going to see that refueling boom extended behind the aircraft. Please welcome the KC-46 Pegasus from the United States Air Force.
About the music though. Sometimes it takes forever to get that music removed. Amazing. Do they do let's see. Do they show us or it just lands? No refueling. I want to see refueling. It's kind of refueling demo. Oh, I see the one with 1. It's like a quick shot though. This thing claims it could do 2 at the same time. I want to see 2. Just watch that one. That one. Refueling simulation. Let's see. I don't know what that thing can do too. I'm about to fact check the AI. I don't believe that shit. So the Globe Master, they say it's a strategic tactical airlift designed to carry troops, vehicles, equipment, helicopters, or humanitarian aid over long distances. So they got the Globetrotter right now too in the air. The Globetrotter flying overseas right by Israel. Where's he coming from? Oh, look, we got all this stuff here. He came all the way from where? Whoa. What? Long ways away. Wow. Dang. That's interesting. You got these planes circling here, these refueling ones. You can keep the fighters up in the air. Oh, they're talking about Iran's missiles. Hold on. I'm kind of curious about what technology Iran has. 1 second. The capabilities. I want to check this out. They were just talking about this, the weapons that they have. Kind of curious. If anyone knows, Al Jazeera knows. They probably got a stockpile in the basement.
Kilometers. The Rad 500, Shahab 2, and Fateh 313 can...
No, they shouldn't.
Here's a look at some of the missiles Iran is deploying. The Shahab 1 and the Fateh 110 are considered short-range, traveling about 300 kilometers. The Rad 500, Shahab 2 and Fateh 313 can reach nearly 500 kilometers. And with a range of 1,000 kilometers are the Desfoul and the Qadr missile systems. And the Shahab 3 is estimated to reach roughly 1,300 kilometers. On the longer range, Iran has 3 missiles that can reach up to 2,000 kilometers. Now, France, Germany and the UK, otherwise known as the E3, have released a joint statement condemning Iran's strikes. It says E3 leaders are appalled by the indiscriminate and disproportionate missile attacks launched by Iran against countries in the region, including those who were not involved in the initial US and Israeli military operations. Iran's reckless attacks have targeted our close allies and are threatening our service personnel. We call on Iran to stop these reckless attacks immediately, and we will take steps.
Okay. We get that. Now, the aircraft, the Globetrotter, I guess it's an interesting aircraft. Let me see where we're at here. Is that the Globetrotter? That's the Pegasus. We got the Pegasus. We got the Stratotanker. We have some weird ones, so I don't know what that. We're gonna have to look into that. I don't even know. It says misconfigured transponder. You don't even know what it is. Probably on purpose. The Globetrotter. Yeah, why is this one interesting? Well, it says here that well, I said Globetrotter, it's Globemaster. Strategic tactical airlift, I can't read, designed to carry troops, vehicles, helicopters, humanitarian aid over long distances. Can take off with 500 max takeoff weight, 585,000 pounds. Oh, crap. Payload up to 170,900 pounds. Can carry 102 paratroopers plus gear. 1 M1 Abrams tank, 3 Stryker vehicles, 18 standard 463-liter pallets, Humvees, artillery, or even a Black Hawk helicopter inside. Has 4 engines. Pratt & Whitney. Oh, he disappeared off the map. They saw we were talking about it. Has 4 engines, Pratt & Whitney. Range is 2,400 nautical miles. Can be extended with aerial refueling. Cruise speed 450 knots. Ceiling 445,000. Can take off and land on runways as short as 3,500 feet. Much shorter than commercial jets. That's wild. The crew is 3. A pilot, co-pilot, and a loadmaster. Why this one's interesting, the flight path at 27,000 feet, departing from Gander, Newfoundland, a classic transatlantic staging point for the U.S. military flights heading to Europe and Middle East. Could deliver, let me see, the U.S. has surged C-17s to the region since late 2025, early 2026 to deliver additional fighters, munitions, personnel, Patriot/THAAD batteries, support equipment for carrier strike groups, humanitarian aid. Okay. Interesting. All right, let me check some of the official updates, and then we're going to keep looking for these videos that people are putting out. Any official. Israel says it struck Hezbollah targets in Beirut. Additionally, the IDF struck central Hezbollah terrorists in southern Lebanon. Hezbollah had warned earlier on Sunday that it would fulfill our duty in confronting the aggression in response to killing of Iran's supreme leader. Trump compares Venezuela model for transition of power in Iran. Trump on Sunday drew a direct parallel between U.S. actions in Venezuela and the current situation in Iran, saying the former offers a perfect example of how a change in leadership could play out amid questions about transition. Wonder what is going on. Like, what's the update with Venezuela? Asian markets slide as Iran conflict spread. Israel's military says it's striking Hezbollah targets in Lebanon. Okay. Hezbollah claims responsibility for the projectiles fired. Series of Israeli strikes in Beirut, southern suburbs. All right. So Hezbollah's pissed off. Globemaster linked to KC-37 fuel. Hey Macy, how you doing? What's up? Rumble, Bobby, Kelly, Curries. Let's see. Oh, thank you for the link. Is this it here? Well, we can see one at a time. I don't think that thing does two, right? Grok said it can do two at a time. It does look cool though. Let me show you guys. Beirut.
Yeah, this is call for straight level.
Beirut.
And test with numbers showing 43.1.
It's at 1013 in the back if you want, or not. Doesn't matter. Copy.
Oh wait, yeah, that's us? Wait, what is that? Nothing? The ambiance? I thought something was coming. I thought it was an alarm or a siren or something. Nothing.
Stabilize. Tanker. Breakaway.
Breaker Diner 10210.
Oh, clear. Terminate separation.
That's cool. Boom. Boom. Is it that quick though? Is it?
2. Stabilize. Tanker. About to turn south. We're about to turn south. Copy. You want me to switch to the other side, or? 2 agree, man.
That's crazy, man. I'd be tripped out up in the air like that.
2. Stabilize.
Wow.
Contact. Low fuel.
So what do they do when they have to use the bathroom if you're in a fighter jet like this? What is that? Yeah, hooked up to a catheter or something? How do you pee if you have to? What do you do? That's pretty cool, though. That's pretty cool. You say you wonder if we're gonna get action tonight? I don't know. It's very quiet. You know, yesterday we had spurts of just like very quiet. It's really early for me to, like, cause I started thinking like, when is the time the action is? You know, like it feels like everything is in reverse almost. Like I feel like early morning hours sometimes is where it's at, and in the afternoon, our morning and afternoon, like really early. But it's hard to say. Let me take a look at, let's take a look at what they're saying on X. Video clips. This guy's good. What? I don't know. Bricks, according to the, I guess he said according to the Wall Street Journal. Uh-oh. Iran makes new efforts to restart talks with the United States. Okay, we will come to the table. Wall Street Journal. I might have to go look that up myself. That's what they're saying. Too late. Oh, okay. Bill found a dual refuel. Tag me on X. Okay, let's take a look. No way they can do this, man. This is insane. Let me show you guys. Maybe I make myself a little smaller. See? Oh, wow. That's crazy.
Regain the capability to do aerial refueling across the Navy fleet.
And recently, the C-130 fleet has begun to transform from the legacy 4-bladed propeller to the more efficient 8-bladed design of the MP-2000 propeller.
Prior to this testing, we only had a single aircraft that was cleared to be refueled.
That's crazy, man. I don't know if I have the nerves to do that. I'm already paranoid about planes. Incredible. They all got to be on Xanax or something, some type of numbifying medication. There's no way, man. KC aircraft refuel. Thanks, Vic. Okay. Hundreds of Iranian Americans fill the NYC streets to celebrate the death of Ayatollah. Whoa. Somebody posted this 29 minutes ago. It's another refueling thing. It's crazy. Iran. All right. We have the skylines. Is this person really in? Let me take a look. There's a lot of fake cameras. Let's see. Iran. No, it's not one of the channels. Watch live. Oh, sorry. Minimize this. Let's listen to what they're saying while I look for. I'm kind of looking for anything else like live feeds. If there's any, I'll let it replay. You know, sometimes we'll see what's popping. If it's not popping, we'll hang out and try to get all the updates and wait for it to pop off. They're saying reports of massive displacement across southern Lebanon as hostilities in Israel and Hezbollah escalate. What about Lebanon? Can we get a Lebanon camera? Iran and Lebanon. You Beirut. Thank you for subscribing. Appreciate the support. Thank you. Thank you. That is, well, good listen up. Add that to the camera. Air police. That's Beirut. View of Beirut skyline. Let me see. What do we have? Because we have the Haifa, Tel Aviv. A bunch of Tel Avivs. Yeah, we need a Beirut. And this is, let's see what we got here. Tel Aviv, Jerusalem. Live from Jerusalem. Yeah, we need to mix it up. Oh. Yeah, let's see if I can add that.
Market from these strikes.
How many can we get? Oh, we can even do that. Maybe we need to do that. That'd be crazy. Yeah, because this one is Beirut. It seems like a lot of stuff is going on over there. I'm gonna have to label these two. Beirut. Here, maybe one more camera. If anything looks interesting. Hello. No, not yet. Okay. Oh, thank you. Okay. North Israel, South Qatar.
Among the public, as there has been for the last 24 hours or so, among the media in Israel, certainly with the successful assassination.
Okay, let's see. Layla sending me some stuff. AP. Oh, AP has one? I didn't know that. AP has full screen Beirut. Oh, thank you. Okay. Oh, no, they got off. That's what you sent me is like a 25-minute video or something. Let me check if they have anything else live. Oh, they were live. They got off. I guess that's what it is. They got off. Yeah, they have one live. Where this camera at? This looks interesting. They're not speaking English, but
يجتمعون في المنازل في الضاحية وهي منطقة مكتظة بالسكان ولكن كلهم نزحوا.
The traffic cam though, kind of. Yeah, I need a uniform place to tell people. If you're gonna send me something, send it to this one place. Because I'm like, I got all these emails, DMs, tags, all this stuff. I don't know if we should just stick to the tips. Tips at ikemail.com. I don't know. I have to figure it out. Yeah. Okay, that Beirut one, I have that one. I'm gonna load it up in a second. I'm just looking to see if there's anything else that looks interesting. So many fake cameras, man. It's like hard to. I want to see the fake stuff playing old clips. Oh shit! Oh my god, bro! I gotta clean that up. Oh my god! Oh. I need like a bib or like a bottle, baby bottle, or one of those. You know what I should do? Have a container that's just closed. It's just so easy to knock something over. Oh, so dramatic too. You know, towel. If it didn't destroy anything. Dramatic. Yeah, I think I'm gonna start because that's happened so many times to me over the years. I think I'm just gonna get some type of like a closed container. So when I have a drink here, the whole thing doesn't fall all over the place. It's like, you know, I'm in like 3 screens. I'm trying to move my hands here, there. The microphone's in the way. I have my stream deck, the cameras I'm looking at outside. All right, all right. Benjamin and Yahoo. So we're gonna add the Beirut skyline. There's like hundreds of just fake channels, man. Okay, let's see. Hmm. Starts now. Nothing's real. Oh, TikTokers? Nobody on TikTok? Well, they don't really use it out there, probably. It's a nice view. Running from TikTok, running to the streets. Everything's fake. Everything's AI. All the thumbnails AI. Jesus. Okay, well, we'll just take what we can get. We're not spend the whole night looking. Let's take what we can get for now. Let me save this. Damn, yo, so they do that at nighttime, I guess? It's like, I thought it was just like a morning thing. Oh, maybe it's morning and night or multiple times a day. Supposed to be like peaceful maybe or something. Let's see. Does it work? It's not it though.
4 months.
Damn, bro. I don't know. I'd be a little creeped out, but I think it's like a religious thing, right? It's like a piece, like a. I could sing like that too. Anybody can say that. Allah. All right, so we got the skyline, beautiful skyline there, Tel Aviv. I remember one of the times we were covering this overseas stuff. Maybe I should take a look on Kick. There was a lady on Kick that was just streaming out there in Israel, just talking about everything. Okay, I think we're good now. We close all this junk out and then let's catch up. Let's see if anything new. Maybe it'll be a slow night or maybe it'll be some late hours. Late night hours, something pops off. If there's any news corporations out there where like some feed or something, you got a license, like some type of like thing that's not being put out there, let me know. I don't know how to do that. If there's somebody like out there on the ground live streaming, you know. We're gonna take a look for clips now here in a second. I'm just accessing my email in case people hit me up there. Jump into my emails. 2 planes refueling. Marty, I got your email. Thank you. Eileen. Oh, thank you, Ellen. Best reporting on YouTube. I don't know why I read that as I'm reporting you on YouTube. I was like, why did you email me for that then? What? Jake Lamb was arrested. Oh, hell nah. Really? I got that 2 days ago. Jake Lamb arrested. I need to set up the email notifications to come to my phone so I can like get them. Okay, I'm gonna close all this junk out. Let's see what's going on. Pentagon to hold news conference Monday morning. Oh. Posted on social media. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth and Chairman of the Joint Chiefs, General Dan Keane, will brief reporters, according to the Post. Okay, so a press conference in the morning. Drone strike hits UK base? No way. Drone strike hits UK base in Cyprus. Ah. Hezbollah launches missile Israel. That was 2 hours ago. Okay. No. Oh. Okay. Yeah, that was crazy earlier today. The bunker, these people were inside of a bunker and got hit and killed. The Amazon data center too. I saw somebody mention that in the chat. I didn't see that. I didn't know that. I wonder if we can get some video on that. That was earlier today. Oh, and there was something else when I got off we missed. Israel strikes hit hospital in Tehran. Witnesses tell Reuters. Reuters. It's Reuters, not Reuters. Israel, and it's kind of ironic that that guy was on, and he's like, no man, you know, the innocent people, the civilians, what's going on? And that reporter just turned on him. Well, how about you? Supposedly, reportedly, it was a hospital that was hit. Oh, so press conference tomorrow, 8 a.m. What time? Eastern. Damn, that's early. I mean, I'm already up, but I'm usually, taking my daughter to school. What else we got? That's pretty wild, I guess. The drone strike. Maybe we should look into that first. The British military. You guys offered your bases to the U.S.? Okay. Okay. I might have to go change my shirt a little bit. What? Oh. Okay, let me just run a little news ticker too at the bottom. Trump, there will likely be more Americans forces killed. He said, "What it is, what it is."
Gonna die.
No, he didn't say it like that. But
pretty soon. What does that mean in terms of who replaces him? Have we really accomplished anything in terms of reducing the likelihood?
He paused and admired the statues. That's what one of the reports said.
That Iran is going to continue to be able to do that, those awful things that we just talked about.
Do you think regime change?
Oh man, they already clipped me.
Supreme leader, whoever's next. Do you think that
Oh.
is a possible?
I thought you clipped me spilling everything.
Is an objective that is willing to try for.
Yeah, well, that's where it gets confusing and unclear. If you simply, as I said, replace one bad leader with another, you know, when you think about the cost of this operation already, haven't even talked about the numerous civilian deaths that have happened in Iran and in several other countries as well. Have you accomplished something significant if you just move from one leader to another? It seems like what President Trump had wanted to see was this regime gone and a popular uprising of people who would move towards a more of a democratic, people-focused country is where we wanted to go. I don't see any evidence today that we are any closer to that objective than we were when this war started 2 days ago.
And you mentioned civilian casualties, and we've already seen the first U.S. service member lose their life, 3 losing their lives, 5 seriously wounded.
Oh, where's the humming coming from?
They're going to avenge those losses.
I thought I'd muted them all.
Is it worth the risk of American lives to have this region? Does that change the complexion for you, knowing that 3 service members lost their lives and President Trump saying likely more might lose their lives as well?
Well, yes, but we knew this going in. I mean, anyone who analyzed this, if you say publicly you'd like to see the regime in Iran change and then start bombing them in a war that most would interpret as a regime change operation, we knew Iran, faced with an existential crisis, would
isolate all the crazies now.
Back at us, and casualties.
Too many things playing at once.
Yeah, I think the fact that they have actually happened now should change it. I haven't seen any change from President Trump yet.
Oh, the censorship. That's why they're banned. Okay, that's what you've been saying.
Again, I really want to emphasize.
Thank you so much, Chris. Thank you for the 10, bro. Hope you're doing good.
Please go ahead and speak up, because that has not been made clear by the
I don't have this set up over here.
We have a lot of different goals, but what that specific goal is and what our path to achieving it, that has not been made clear.
Oh, that's not it.
Yeah, that being the off-ramp. But I do want to ask you, because we talk about this, what is the best case scenario in your eyes that this happens? What do you hope happens over the next week or several weeks?
Yeah, I mean, look, the best case scenario when this started was that the regime would quickly collapse. This was predicted by President Trump and a lot of other people supporting this war. It was frankly predicted by a lot of Iranian Americans, many of whom have lobbied me to support precisely this war. I know they've lobbied my colleagues as well. And they all told me that, you know, the people of Iran were just waiting for the opportunity to rise up and overthrow this regime. And I don't doubt that the people of Iran are very unhappy with this regime. What I doubt is the pathway from that to it being replaced. Because the sad truth is the regime has the guns. They have the military control. And if you don't have boots on the ground in the country from somebody, I'm not saying it has to be a foreign invading force, it could be a domestic group that rises up to challenge them, what's the path?
Yeah, what is the path?
Actually having that regime go away, as bad and awful and terrible as they are, you can't fix every problem in the world at the point of a gun.
Is there a concern in your eyes, because President Trump's saying this could last 4+ weeks? Is your concern that it spans beyond that? The American people lose patience, that we're in another war in the Middle East. Is that a concern of yours?
Well, yes, but understand the American people don't support this now. They didn't support it when it got launched. They didn't have any patience before it started.
I thought we did.
Patience to lose. I mean, polls show that somewhere in the mid 20% of people in this country support this operation. So there's never been any support. I mean, from a practical standpoint, the concern of it dragging on is more casualties, more of a disrupted, the Middle East disrupt, chaos descends, and also we begin to run low on critical munitions that are necessary, certainly to be able to continue to fight this war, but also to meet our other national security needs. So that's what's concerning about this dragging on.
And you mentioned support or lack thereof with the American people in terms of this attack. Is there support from Congress? Is there other that Republican members of Congress can do? Because we know that the Congress, that body is in place for kind of the war powers. Is there more your Republican colleagues, Democrat colleagues can do there talking about this?
Yeah, sure. I mean, but look, again, That's a point. Sorry, I haven't really made this point yet. We've never gone to war like this before. The president did not make the case to the American people. He didn't even really try. I mean, he did the State of the Union speech 5 days ago. He talked about Iran for 3 minutes in a nearly 2-hour speech, and he didn't mention a military option. He has not even tried to make the case on this. Didn't come to Congress, didn't make the case to Congress. He just did it. He did it because he's the president, and as he has said, he doesn't think there are any checks on his power. I strongly disagree with him on that point, but he seems to be acting out that belief to the detriment of our country. And it seems like Republicans in Congress are willing to just go, sure, whatever you say, we're not going to do our job. At a minimum, we should have a vote in Congress as to whether or not to support this war. And Republicans have been blocking that for months now, just to give us the chance to vote to say, if we go to war in Iran, it must have congressional approval. If you support this, go on record supporting it. And they haven't even done that. So yeah, there's a lot more that the Republican-led Congress could do to have some accountability for the use of our military in this war.
If by chance that vote comes up, do you expect Republican colleagues to kind of be on the same page with Democrats against a war with Iran?
I think that they seem to have simply acquiesced, despite the fact that, I mean, President Trump ran for office saying he was adamantly opposed to exactly this type of war. You know, no more, you know, America first. We're going to focus on the needs here in America. We're not going to go try to fix all the world's problems. We're not going to get dragged into forever wars, specifically in the Middle East. And however awful the Iranian regime is, and it is awful, is it the responsibility of the United States of America at considerable cost to fix that? I don't think it is. I think we can work with partners and allies in the region to try to deal with it. But President Trump's basically said, hate the regime in Iran, we're going to use our military to go fix it. I don't think that's what the American people wanted. But again, the Republican Congress seems to be like, you know, whatever Trump says, we're in favor of. He says one thing, we're in favor of that. He says the exact opposite thing an hour later, we're in favor of that too. That's not the type of leadership I think we need from Congress. You should have principles, have an opinion, a position. You know, Trump may be right, he may be wrong, but just because he's talking, it doesn't mean that you have to say, oh yeah, whatever he says.
All right, very good. I just want to get your take on that.
Those people just go do the opposite of what he says just to be opposite. Just because they don't like him.
And hopefully some more information that you learn in some of these meetings with some of that military brass there in Capitol Hill. Thanks again for joining us.
Okay.
That was Andy Mack speaking with Representative Adam Smith, talking about Congress's involvement in this operation against Iran. Congress is set to be briefed on the situation on Tuesday, so we'll be watching that very closely. We also see that there's going to be a press conference at 8 a.m. tomorrow on Operation Epic Fury, those strikes in Iran Saturday morning. That press conference with Secretary Pete Hegseth and Chairman Kaine. Again, that is scheduled for 8 a.m. Eastern tomorrow. This is from the Department of War on X. We'll be watching that, and if we have it, we will bring it to you.
So it's saying here, U.S. members just got an urgent orders from the Department of War. Turn off location services on all electronic devices immediately. Uber, Talabat, and Snapchat are flagged as compromised. Active threats against U.S. military personnel in the contiguous United States are real right now. Panic reported at the Shatla camp in Beirut. Video shows crowds rushing through narrow alleys. Let's show that. It's a really short clip, but
ضرب جنب المخيم.
التلفزيون scared the hell out of me. Beirut. Is that real? 14 minutes ago? Is this real? put it in here. I don't know if it is. We'll see. What am I doing wrong? It's not working. I don't think that's real. Yeah, no. That's one of those channels just playing clips. Oh. Then we're better off watching stuff on X. Oh, yeah, I was going to check Kick too. Let me check Kick real quick. Let me turn off the light. Like, I want to get into the nighttime mood. Night mode. God, what a mess. Okay, let's see. Anything interesting here?
You still be playing Fortnite or no? Sometimes. Well.
Nope. Israel. Iran.
Just live from southern Beirut. Let's talk about the evacuation.
Look at the fly radar again. What do you guys think? Seems like a quiet night, I guess. Quiet night. We got quite a few people. Your mic is about 70% louder than the Fox stream. Okay, next time I'll fix it a little bit. Let's check out X. Chaos reported Baghdad, Iraq, as pro-Khamenei rioters firing guns. Oh, that was from earlier though. I want to get a Baghdad feed. Buggy. Is this real? Let's see if this is real. This was hours ago. Reuters, they got off. Kind of curious, actually. Looping, yeah. Somebody said it's looping. A lot of these channels are just playing fake stuff. Maybe it's just quiet now. Wars. All right, well, let me put you guys on the big screen. Let me see the chat. Check for updates. Hey, Matt, maybe it's just gonna be quiet tonight. Inside the precision strikes that shattered Iran's leadership. There's not really any updates coming. No updates. Lebanon's prime minister says rocket fire from Lebanese soil endangers country. Crazy Beirut. Why you have wars going on? Oh. Let's take a look and see. Let's take a look at some different options. Mix it up. Oh. Listen to this. Oh, they're playing Trump again. Trompito. You sent a notification. Quiet before the storm. Maybe we need some quiet. No, that's audio in the background. That's from one of the live feeds. Oh, right. Facebook Live. Maybe the birds know something we don't know. Beirut. Not. Is the top live? Because it's just popping up. That top right is one of those channels that's doing fake crap. I think they're just replaying stuff. Damn, this thing's not even letting me log in. Wow. Okay. Hmm. Doing like one last ditch effort to see if I can get anything. Bum 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 bum. Logged in. Let's see. Nothing. Nothing, pimp. I gotta log into everything. Yeah. Let's listen to a little bit the top portion of the guy that was arrested Austin. Oh no, he's not arrested though. He was killed
I
actually.
want to put up this here as we talk about this potentially nexus of terrorism. The FBI is still looking into it. Not sure of the motive at this moment, but Bill Belusion saying the photo has been obtained of this mass shooter armed and wearing a shirt that says "Property of Allah." Of course, talking about what's going on in Iran. Did they get into any specifics about the motive, about what they're looking into in regards to that?
Yeah, we potentially, I mean, the word potential is what is being used. So we are saying a potential act of terror. This is something that they said early on in that early morning press conference. I've had multiple reporters on this. We just had a reporter actually outside the suspected gunman's house. I can tell you that. We do know that there was 8 FBI agents, 8 PD officers going to that home, coming out with boxes of what appears to be evidence. There's also a white car in the driveway there that it looks as though someone has bashed in the window there. We're not quite sure what that is. We also saw people coming in and out of the house. We talked with the neighbor who said he saw drones, who said he saw canine units, SWAT teams coming in with assault rifles as well, getting a search warrant on this home. And in terms of the potential act of terrorism, we haven't gotten that as an exact motive from APD or FBI agents. And honestly, I don't suspect to hear from them for the rest of the night. But I can tell you that image that you showed there, which we have put out as well from Fox 7 Austin here, we also obtained a video, which you can find on my Instagram, Alec Nolan TV. And you can watch it. That there's a suspected gunman there on the ground after appearing to get shot. And if you pause the video, and I know it's blurred in there and you can't see it, but I can tell you from watching that video, it is that same Property of Allah hoodie that you're seeing right there. So once again, we don't have confirmation as to the motive right now, just being investigated as a potential act of terror. We do know that he lives in Pflugerville. If you're from Austin, that's not far away, about 20 minutes north.
What the hell
and
is that?
It looks as though he lives with other people. And I believe
terrorist.
he became a naturalized citizen about 20 years ago, a legal citizen, I should say, and then a naturalized citizen in 2013. So we're continuing to get more information, but as you know, Andy, it sometimes takes a while for law enforcement.
Yeah, it takes them a little bit of time as they're kind of diving into all these leads. If it was just something you picked out of the closet, or if there was something specific around exactly what you wore to obviously unload this, and 2 people losing their lives, dozens other injured. I do want to ask you more about Austin, because we know the University of Texas so prominent in the community there. How aware are people in Austin of what's going on in Iran? How aware are they of the politics of it all? Because obviously a young kind of crowd, a college town, so to speak. How aware are you of the global implications of what's going on in Iran?
That's a really great question, Andy. I think people need to understand that Austin, certainly out of all of the cities here in Texas, I would argue, is the most aware, I would say, of what's going on politically, globally, economically, internationally. This is a college town, but you're also talking about a very highly educated area. The politics here, this being the capital, Governor Greg Abbott is here. We know that so many people like to go outside the Capitol. And we saw this yesterday, Andy, and I captured video of this as well. Right after it had been confirmed that the Ayatollah had been killed, we have seen a group, hundreds of local Iranians going outside the Capitol and cheering, thanking President Donald Trump, thanking Israel. So this has been going on for weeks now. I mean, since January, we have seen these people outside begging for some help. And so I would argue that, yeah, this is an area that's very self-aware of what's going on and understands the implications of, hey, if you're going to, as I told one of my colleagues, take the head off the snake here in the Ayatollah, things can happen.
That was very good. I just wanted to get your perspective. Obviously, a very politically savvy group there in Austin, much like yourself. All right, Alec, thank you so much. I appreciate your time, your insight here on Live Now from Vox.
Andy, thanks. Anytime.
All right, thanks so much. All right, great conversation there is what we were following, a possibility, potential, a nexus of terrorism following this mass shooting that unfolded overnight on that 6th Street area there in Austin. Again, these were just some images that we're getting in from there. You can see the lights and sirens as the police taking out this individual, and a photo on social media from Bill Belusion talking about this, wearing a specific Sweatshirt has not been identified by authorities. Multiple law enforcement sources say it's a 53-year-old naturalized U.S. citizen born in Senegal, lives in Pflugerville.
Oh wait, this guy's still on the loose?
Said he was told he's wearing an undershirt that had an Iranian flag on it as well. So interesting kind of confluence of events. The FBI looking into it. Austin Police keeping our eye on it. Let's take you out to this update from Austin Police, I believe overnight, into what transpired there.
Look into that. I thought it was caught.
There was, as everybody's now aware, a very significant incident on West 6th Street. We're going to have a briefing from the chiefs, as was just indicated to you. I want to say first, before I bring in Chief Davis, that I'm very thankful for the speed with which our public safety officials responded to this. I don't think there's any question that it saved lives. In fact,
oh my God.
Chief Luckers will tell you about how quickly we were providing, his folks were providing help and aid to people, and that made a difference. But also our police officers who so rapidly responded.
He was shot and killed. Okay, they're making like he's on the run or something.
What we will do, and I'll mention this again a little bit later, but what we will do is get a briefing right now to get information to you. And then during the course of the day, as we continue this, we will, on a regular and routine basis, provide you additional information. So with that, I'm going to ask our police chief, Chief Davis, to come up.
All right. I think we're going to call it then.
I want to start by saying my condolences.
It's a very quiet night.
This is a tragic incident. I want to start by saying
and I think we should take advantage, I guess. Just chill. Take advantage and just chill, because who knows when's the next long stretch. Chad is requesting you hum the song Hungry. Yeah, I think we're gonna get off, and then when something pops off, because right now there's nothing really. You know, we did the updates, but there's like nothing right now. It's just quiet. I mean, the things that they say is happening, we can't really see anything. So yeah, but I appreciate you guys, man. I appreciate you coming through. We will see what this week brings. I'm wondering any Nancy updates, Iran. We'll set up somebody had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 screens. Damn, maybe I need to upgrade to that. Having 5 screens. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, I have 3. I'm already crazy with 3. I don't know how to do 5. But that would be convenient to have the chat up on one thing, because sometimes I have to put the chat down, and I got 5 screens. Blood Moon Wednesday. See you at 3 a.m. Yeah, I don't know. It's quiet, so I mean, I'm not gonna jinx it either. AP has a new live stream. Beirut skyline. We already have the skyline. Oh, it's a clearer one though. I guess it can't hurt to have that. But yeah, we'll see what this week brings. Been crazy. No, I'm gonna get a little rest, because the thing is, if I stay up and there's just nothing, and then something happens and then we're really stuck for hours, I'm gonna be like exhausted and tired. Been a really long last couple weeks. And, you know, I could leave this just the cameras up and just go away, but not gonna do that. Not now, anyway. But yeah, I'll catch you guys later. I'll be around. We'll be around. I actually have to get some stuff done in the house, man. I gotta, there's some couple of things I need to clean and get done. So yeah. Mm-hmm. Ah, amazing. After this, millions come to America and start voting. MAGA, MAGA. And I did a little exercise today. It was before I came on stream, which is good. Did some exercise. I'm gonna have some dinner. Breaking: Hezbollah leader assassinated 10 minutes after announcing entry into war. Damn. No. Oh, this is a clip of the supposed hypersonic missiles. Look how fast this thing is. This is supposedly Iran's missile technology. That I don't know if they've used this hypersonic thing yet.
Whoa, did you see that? That was fast. That looked...
No. Yeah, that's crazy. Mm. I did have the spaces that I wanted to hear. Third most. Is it this one?
The Supreme
charge of the
Ideas against it. We're hearing.
other like the Belush army.
Very easy for them to
Bigger, and I think it's going to happen.
It's not the way these things work. So, what is left?
and we have, and that's it. All of a sudden,
Effective, especially when their economy.
I thought
Security
they our job, that's simple. The Iranian people
Makes sense because our job, an administration in the United States that is willing to help the Iranian people seize their own future from these people. And I don't want anybody to die. None of us, anybody who's been in the military knows we don't want anybody to die. But the problem is that some people will only be removed from power by force. So this now is in the hands of the Iranian people for them to rise up against this tyrannical, theocratic regime and form ultimately to form a new government against
get the transitional situation ongoing.
And right? It's very transitional.
Okay. I'm sorry. I need to just go to breaking news because there's some of them. So Dubai has been struck for the third time today this morning. That is really Dubai is taking the blunt of it. To be fair, we have information that's coming out of CNN. So I assume that's this information we need to take not with a grain of salt, but that's propaganda. That's the type of propaganda that you could see. But Saudi Arabia and the United Emirates privately support recent U.S. strikes on Iran. Two sources told CNN. No public sources, no specific things. This is used to implicate or get the UAE and KSA involved. The question is who's trying to do it and why. But the other point is Iran National Security Council Secretary Ali Larijani has said in the previous war we suffered many casualties, but yesterday the number of our martyrs was very low. The armed forces are fully in control thanks to their prior experience. In the coming days we will have ups and downs, but the overall outlook will be bright. Saying that we have low casualties when most of your leadership is dead is a question mark. I understand his point of view in terms of their readiness to fight, but the general idea is baffling. And then echoes of a successful explosion inside of Dubai again. Then there's information coming out of the New York Times saying that the CIA has been tracking Ayatollah Khamenei for months, gaining more confidence about his location and his patterns. According to people familiar with the operation, then the agency learned that the meeting of top Iranian officials would take place on Saturday morning and the leadership compound in the heart of Tehran. Most critically, the CIA learned that the supreme leader would be at the site. So that's
of ISR systems that are literally just focused in on Iran right now.
And as soon as they start moving missiles and moving launchers out of storage, there's artificial intelligence that's going to be able to queue on that, find those locations, and they're playing right into the U.S. hands. Because if you look at what the U.S. still has, every B-2 bomber in Missouri right now is loaded and ready to go, right? So they're going to get targeting queuing throughout the day. Everything's going to be fine. They're going to launch in about 12 hours. And every place that had launchers and missiles coming out, they're just going to be massively destroyed. So, as a guy who would try to look at this somewhat neutral, I live in Austria, right? The amount of chess pieces that are on the West side versus what's on Iran's side, this is a losing game for Iran. I mean, I would love to see a negotiation table discussion. I would love to see the Iranian Guard put down their weapons, as some of them are doing. And I would love to see the Iranian people elect their next leader. That would be really good. And I think everything would stop. And I would argue until that happens, this is going to go really, really bad for Iran.
Thank you, Jeff. Yeah, I concur with most of the points in terms of this. Who do you think do you think the deaths of Khamenei will lead to more uprising inside of the Levant area, especially with the militias? Or do you think those have been dealt with so that the situation can be so this types of strike could happen?
The Iranian leadership's had a lot of time to play this out in their mind and to war game it, right? And I don't say that lightly. I mean, I think that they were, these are intelligent people. So they've thought through, okay, if
it again, they wanted to do it in January back when they originally had the protests. They couldn't make it happen then. So they kind of bided their time, waited until all the top military officials were in one place, and then that's when they struck, which was yesterday, well, in Eastern Standard Time, 2 o'clock in the morning, right around 9 or 10 in the morning for them. So that's what they were waiting on all this time. But getting rid of Ali Khamenei and some of the top brass is not going to stop the Iranians from doing what they're doing, because they literally war planned this, that they would be getting taken out, and they've already had lines of secession ready to go.
Yes, a final question for you, Myron. In terms of the situation with Iran and the escalation ladder and everything, we've heard those speeches before. We've heard they've been preparing for a while with Hezbollah. They've been preparing for a while for Hamas. Hamas had this all gamed out and planned and everything. We've seen where this ended. The situation right now on the ground with Iran is that they have no control of their airspace. The US and the Israelis are flying randomly. They are doing damage. We're not denying this inside of the UAE, inside of Israel, the strike yesterday, and other locations. But the impact of the strikes on the Iranian regime is quite high. And we're going to see over time, potentially, the people that are around the regime maybe start deciding to shift or to change their direction, and the ones that are against the regime internally get emboldened. Do you see that the selling point of a potential regime change is possible or no?
Let me get that.
Well, I mean, to effectuate a real regime change, you're going to need boots on the ground to some degree, because you're going to need to stabilize the country. You're going to need to usher in a transitional government. I don't think that the Shah is like this people try to say, right? Like, a lot of these people need to understand that, like, these American Iranians that are on Fox News talking about we love the Shah and we want to be free again, all this other bullshit, that's a minority of the Iranian population, bro. Because here's the thing. I'm not disputing the fact that people dislike the Ayatollah. I'm not disputing that. But what I am saying is they hate Israel more. So that's very important. And then as they're getting attacked, we're seeing a rally around the flag event, okay? This is exactly what happened during the 12-day war, because they thought that they were going to be able to effectuate the regime change. So we got a bunch of Jews giving thumbs down. Yo, you guys are hilarious, all you Zionists. Like, you guys are literally comical. You guys must have just got your $7,000 in the fucking mail or something.
Myron.
But anyway, let me keep going.
I think we need to stop the anti-Semitism.
Bro, fuck you and your anti-Semitism.
I think it's hilarious. The losing team is hilarious.
This isn't even about being on a team. This is me objectively speaking. I'm an American. I understand that I come from an American position, America first position, and this does not
America first, yeah, right.
The United States. Dude, you got an Israel flag and a Ukraine flag in your body.
Is that you are an American, so you are entitled to free speech of nonsense.
Okay, we got a dreidel spinner coming in too. Like, bro,
Look,
just
this,
get
this
your
is not
7,000 clear.
America first.
Okay.
Look.
Okay. So usually I allow two people to go back and forth, maybe some people, but when it starts becoming personal attack now, Myron, just so we can wrap up on this. I get your point. I just want to avoid personal attack that don't add anything to the debate, even though I know your style. In terms of the specific situation, Israel took the decision, and we knew that decision was coming. That was an objective for Netanyahu for a while, but also Donald Trump have been talking about stopping the IRGC, about Ali Khamenei's position, about the leadership not wanting to solve the situation or find a peaceful situation, about the negotiation not going well. That's U.S. positions. I know Oman and others have given different positions, even people inside of the administration, but the White House position has always been, we need to deal with that situation over there. This strike dealt with that situation. What do you think the next couple of days are going to bring?
Destabilization, vacuum of power. I know that a couple people have kind of stepped up, said that they can come in. I know that there was a board of Baloks and Kurds and stuff that said they'd be happy to come in and, kind of take over. We know that the Shah also was talking about having a transitional government coming in.
Everybody leaving, everybody running.
I don't know, because I think the majority of the Iranian people that live in Iran, though they might not like the Ayatollah, they're going to dislike the United States and Israel even more so. People need to understand that a lot of the suffering that the Iranians have endured in Iran is because of U.S. sanctions. Okay, like they are totally aware of the fact that their dollars literally plummeted because of Scott Bassett and our intervention on our side, and they know that the United States and Israel is responsible for a lot of their suffering. So even the people that don't like the Ayatollah,
I heard about that. We should play that before we get out of here.
Fuck Israel. We don't like these guys, and we don't like the Shah, who's clearly a puppet of the West.
Yeah, heard about that.
I'm not saying that they don't. I'm not saying that they love the guy, but I think they dislike Israel more. And we saw that rally around the flag effect, literally during the 12-day war.
Can I respond to Myron? I mean,
yes,
professionally.
I was going to you, Jeff. Actually.
Yeah. So look, I've debated Myron numerous times. I think he's probably a very likable and nice guy. I actually agree with him on a couple of things. Might shock a couple of people, right? I agree that this strike does not meet the policy definition in the United States of America First. Read the policy, right? It's very isolationist. It's very, we do not go across our borders. Look at, and I mean, if you question that, look at how Trump argued against doing anything to support Ukraine against Russia. I would argue that Russia and Iran would fall into a very similar category as threats to the United States. And if you are not willing to do anything against Russia, and your stance has been America first, this strike does not meet the litmus test of America first. That said, I don't disagree with the strike. I think it's the right thing to do with what the United States should be doing. I don't agree with the America First policy. I've been very, very advocate and vocal against the United States, right? So on that. So I agree with Myron on that. But to get rid of the Ayatollah and the leadership and give the Iranian people a chance to democratically elect who their next leader is, whether they're pro-America or not, I don't care. I would argue Myron shouldn't disagree with that, right?
Colonel Jeff,
yeah.
just to Colonel Jeff, just a
second.
I just wanted to ask him to clarify one thing. Go ahead, sorry.
AB,
Go ahead,
AB,
please,
thank you.
please.
The morning, the American attack Kermanshah once again. This is what the perimeter of the Islamic Revolution Guard Corps base look like now. So it has been completely decimated. The video will be posted by the team pretty soon. Iran launched a fresh wave of strikes across the Middle East, with explosion heard by CNN teams in several capitals and major cities. We're talking about Dubai. We're talking about Abu Dhabi. We're talking about Bahrain and Kuwait. Those are the ones that have been hit the most lately. Dubai has been like the UAE in general, they have
UAE,
more than
yeah.
500 rockets towards them. I think that the short-range ballistic missiles were better used toward Dubai, and even the drone were better used toward Dubai than Israel, because those never reached Israel in some point, in some way, shape, or form. We're seeing also, okay, Dubai and Qatar. Also, Qatar now has been added to the mix this morning. I'll go to Myron.
I just wanted to, regarding, for 5 seconds, just regarding what Colonel Jeff just said, I'm not going to agree or disagree. I just wanted to ask him to clarify. When he's referring to America first, he means quote unquote America first. If I understand you correctly, Jeff, you do think this strike is tangibly America first. In other words, you think it's in America's interest. Do I understand you correctly?
There's a difference between in the America's interest and what Trump's administration has defined as America first. Trump's America first.
I got you. Yeah.
James, give me 1 second on this, because I think there's a misconception of what America First is here.
Isn't it a faction?
30 seconds. Give me 30 seconds here.
No,
James.
Hazem, I want to go to Myron, and then I go to you.
No,
Myron,
I need to drop. I have a CNBC interview in 30 seconds, like in less than 5 minutes.
So go.
So
you have 30 seconds.
30 seconds. So America First, when it comes to foreign policy, needs to be looked at from the angle of the national security strategy. And that defines China as the main competitor and main threat to America. The Iranian regime has been supplying China with cheap oil and other support where available. And yes, when it comes to America First strategy, when it comes to foreign policy in the region and globally, this fits the agenda. This is how we look at America First. It's not just an idea of America First. It's translated into strategies, and the national security strategy is our guidance here. Thank you.
Okay,
Myron,
can I also say something about?
So just to be clear, based on that strategy and policy, you're telling me anyone who provides China anything is going to be targeted. So we're going to target the UK and fucking France and Germany? Dude, that's ridiculous.
No one does trade with China, you retard. What the fuck? Like, this guy's a dumbass. Go do your CNBC interview, bro. You got your $7,000 clearly. Wear the new suit. Anyway, like, bro,
oh my God.
Like, dude, like,
can I say something about the America First?
Charlie, I want to give Myron, and then it will go to you.
I don't know why a woman is speaking anyway with men in the room.
Myron,
Anyway,
Yeah, go talk to your OnlyFans girls. That's what you do all day.
Oh, yeah, well, I'd rather talk to OnlyFans girls than only Jew girls like you. Shut up.
Myron.
Anyway, back to what I was saying with you, James. Look, I agree. See, so I guess he has a different definition of, you know, what America First is with Colonel James. My thing is, I don't like getting involved in foreign conflicts where we're opening ourselves up to potential attacks and American soldiers getting hurt over something that doesn't really yield us that much strategic benefit. I think this conflict is there's way more risk than reward in this situation. So that's why I don't like this conflict, because the Iranians are capable. We're seeing it right now, and they haven't even launched a lot of their good stuff yet. And you guys got to remember, they're prepared for a longer war. Okay, the Israelis don't have enough interceptor missiles to keep up with the Iranian stockpile. It's that simple. This is why they were begging for the 12-day war to get ended last time. So in a war of attrition, the Israelis are going to get fucked up. There's a reason why they literally have a law in place right now. People are not taking video and showing what's going on in Israel. And they're doing that for a certain reason. But they are getting hit, just like during the 12-day war.
It's always the same. It's always the same balance. We're talking about it. You're talking about it. There is, yes, they are not allowed to have videos, but then satellite imagery shows what really got hit. So you can't hide anything anymore. To be fair, if we're being honest, you can't hide anything anymore in this day and age. We need to be honest about the reality. Iran does have a certain stockpile, but that stockpile will end. Even if they have 100 million missiles, if they don't have launchers, they would not be able to attack. And one of the main targets that we've seen throughout the 12-day war and throughout the situation from the Israelis and the Americans have been those launchers. That's point number one. Point number two, you're right. Israel will be the one that will take the blunt of it. But what we are seeing right now is that Israel is not taking the blunt of it. The reality is that the GCC countries are taking the blunt of it. Why is Iran attacking the GCC when the GCC stood aside and told them we're not allowing the use of our airspace for anything? At the end of the day, this war, they are the one escalating the war to a level that they can't control. Because if the GCC gets involved,
they warned the Gulf states. They warned the Gulf states that if we get attacked, we're going to hit you too. Anyone that assists the United States is going to get attacked. Also, They have
Yeah, but
guys, Iran
strategically,
is huge.
Myron, between me and you, strategically, if you were a strategist, if you don't have beef with the country that said that we're not going to assist, we're not doing anything in this conflict, okay? They said they're standing aside. Attacking them would just put you under more pressure. Why even go there?
Because you got to hit the weak points. Like, here's the thing.
That's
I'm not disputing the fact that the United States
stupid.
is a superpower and can win this war. It's not about winning the war, guys. It's about, are we willing to win the war with the amount of damage that we're going to take of just...
They keep talking about stockpile. I don't believe it. They posted a video. Let's see if I bookmarked it. Somebody posted a video where they're like, they have all this stuff and they haven't used it yet. It's coming. Who posted that? Was it Mario? Let me see. It's me, Mario. Mario posted that. I thought I saw him. Maybe it was somebody else that posted it. No. It must have been somebody else then. Oh, I think it was RTS or something. Was the RTS? Or what was the name of that channel? RST, RTS? Russian something network? Okay, let me just keep going.
Of us and our allies. So what they're going to do is they're going to hit the pressure points, right, that they can inflict maximum damage. Right now, the Strait of Hormuz is operating at 70% below where it's supposed to be. The markets are going to open up tomorrow and be nuts, right? We're talking about the price of a barrel of oil going up probably closer to $100, right, by when the markets open up tomorrow. So we know that the Iranians don't have the capabilities to actually fight back full on against the United States and Israel combined. But what they can do is utilize asymmetric warfare to make it an extremely painful war for not just them, but for everyone else in the region. And that's what they're doing. They're punishing the Gulf states by housing these military bases in strategic locations, and then they're going to continue to pummel Israel. And if Iran goes down, I think that they're going to try to take Israel down with them. Also, the launchers that you mentioned, dude, they have hundreds, if not thousands of sites all across Iran. It's a huge country, 90 million people. All over the place, they have these launchers that we don't know where they all are, and they can launch from anywhere in the country. And then we haven't even talked about the capabilities with the Chinese missiles, if they actually have them in country. If not, we know that they signed that deal. We know that they can go ahead and do a more long-term war than the Israelis or the United States might want to go ahead and deal with. And it's the Israelis that really are the most sensitive ones here because they can't sustain a long-term conflict. So, I mean...
That's not true, Myron.
They've been in conflict. They've been in conflict
Myron,
for the last 2 years.
Myron, look, you're making a false assumption here. I don't disagree that their stockpiles for weapons right now are less than what's in Iran. That's true. But what you're failing to understand is their military-industrial complex is still running. Like their factories are still up and operational. They are still No, Israel. Israel can still make tons and tons of, I mean, they're a nation that's been at war for decades. Look at what ELTA can do. Look at what Elbit can do. Look at what Israeli aerospace industries can do. They're still making the David and Sling. They're still everything's still in production. So if you keep wanting to say that their stockpiles are low, yes, their stockpiles are low, but they have plenty of money, they have plenty of resources, and they have existing factories to build shit. So
nobody's disputing the fact that they can attack. That's not the point. What I'm trying to display here is that the Israelis are a glass cannon. They can attack, but they can't take much damage. That's the key distinction I'm making here.
Can I respond, James?
The production of interceptor missiles.
I want to respond as well.
Okay, the sandwich maker needs to be quiet. Interceptor missiles
Myron,
are significantly more expensive and difficult to procure than what the Iranians are using. They're using $20,000 drones that they make in country. Meanwhile, the Israelis are using interceptor missiles that cost millions of dollars. Okay,
that's again. You're okay. Stop, buddy. Look, I'm trying to have a good debate. I'm trying to have a good debate with you. But the truth is
Sudan waits for you.
Your numbers are wrong. Israel just created and they've placed, I want to say, 3 or 4 iron beam systems right now that are actually laser-defined systems. Right? It's about $3.50 a shot, dude. So and look, you laugh all you want, buddy. I mean, you want to have a fair debate. Let's have a fair debate, but don't make up stuff and fear monger that Israel. That's not fair, dude. I'm the military guy. I've spent 30 years in the military.
He's not a serious person. I don't even understand why you're debating him.
I just stood up my.
Sorry, Jeff. Please, if two people are debating, don't interfere. Sorry.
Look at this video they put out. You don't think they should have used this shit before the leader was killed?
I just stood up a consulting firm called Fisher Aerospace where I'm getting paid by Fortune 500 companies to do this kind of assessments. I mean, you can say all you want. If you're making the same kind of money I am at assessing Israel and the Middle East and the European defense markets and industries, then that's great. Whoever's paying you for that kind of information is kind of crazy, dude. You can look at my website, fisheraerospace.com. We are doing great things because we're getting it right.
Sounds like a radical or something. I'm just like, I don't know who this guy is. I'm gonna look into him a little bit. I saw BBC. That's all I need to know in the profile. But let's keep listening.
Every single time. I mean, if you look at my first book that I wrote, loosely based on my career, Live Range is the name of the book. It's an assassination attempt against the fucking Ayatollah Khamenei, written in 1922 or in 2022. I mean, I'm getting it right over and over. You can bitch with me all you want. You can raise your voice. I get it, but at the end of the day, yelling at me does not make you right.
You ever get that? Like somebody's like, you're yelling. What are you talking about? Like you're just talking calm. He's the one that's like raising his voice all the time.
You did raise your voice.
I'm not yelling. I'm actually very calm. I appreciate the infomercial. I'm sure people here might go ahead and take up your consulting services, but
I hope they do.
I thought about that too. Like the guy was just like, we're just here, just having a conversation. He's like running his business, his credentials, like all this stuff, and I make more money. And if you make this money, then you're qualified to speak about this.
Well, if they want to get it right, I hope they do.
Sure. Look, dude. This is just a math equation at this point. What you're talking about with these $3 interceptors or the ability to shoot down these Iranian capabilities, dude. It costs significantly more money for Israel to defend themselves against Iranian attacks than the Iranians spend with attacking Israel. In a war of attrition, it heavily favors the Iranians. This is why during the 12-day war, the Israelis were begging for a ceasefire, and they threatened to nuke Iran if the United States did not intervene and bomb Fordo and the other nuclear sites with the bunker busters. This is why Donald Trump had to come in and bomb Iran, despite the fact that his base did not want him to do that, because the Israelis threatened to use a nuclear bomb. And the only reason they threatened to use a nuclear bomb is because they were no longer able to keep their skies secure, as you're trying to claim. 25% of their stockpile of interceptor missiles were wiped out in 12 days of warfare. The Israelis are a glass cannon, and they can't sustain long-term warfare when they're actually getting hit back. When they're bombing kids, they're fine. When they're actually getting hit back, it's difficult.
No. People can believe what they want to believe, buddy. If they want to believe what you're putting out, that's fine. I would tell you the cost for one Iron Dome rocket, because it's actually a rocket, it's not even really a true missile, is only about 50 or was it 10 grand or something like that, right? The system, the radar system is really expensive, and you got to hit it. But if you can't hit it, it's going to keep operating. Your numbers are so far off, it's not even funny. I mean, and this speculation that you said that, Israel was going to launch a nuclear weapon, is this the advice that you're giving to people, and are they paying for it? I'm just curious.
Well, here's the thing. John Carrick reported that, and he has some, and he definitely.
Well, John sounds like a good dude.
Yeah, he's a former CIA officer. The fact that they were basically threatening to utilize a nuclear weapon if the United States did not step in and bomb the bases.
This is complete bullshit. James, can I respond to this?
Of course. The Mossad operative. Let's go.
This guy's like, bruh.
Thank you very much. What?
Just answer.
Crazy.
Yeah, okay. I will. First of all, as far as mathematics go, yes, the Arrow is a very expensive anti-missile missile. No doubt that it's very costly. Closer neighbors, the Gulf countries. But there is one thing which I think Myron completely misunderstood, which is, and I think James alluded to it before, the Israeli Air Force is taking the launchers one by one. So when they start this war with thousands of launchers or 1,000 launcher, I don't know the exact number. I don't have any intelligence that is non-public. Once the Israeli Air Force start taking those down, then the number of missiles in each barrage goes down. And then it is easier for Israel to take out what Iran is sending. So initially, in the first stages of the war, they may be able to launch large barrages and some will get through. What Iran has done during the 12-day war, they first tried to use accurate missiles to hit the Israeli air bases, and they found out that they cannot really cause any damage to the Israeli Air Force. So they switched their tactic. They started attacking cities. And yes, every time a missile sneaks through, you are going to get a damaged building. I've heard all those, John Krakow nonsense about 6% of Israel got decimated. Israel received basically about 25 or 30 direct hits during the last 6 days of the 12-day war. That's it, 30 direct hits. So there were few buildings who really got pounded and destroyed completely. But once Israel will take more and more launchers, you will see that the ability of Iran to fire at Israel goes down and down and down, and we will need less of the more expensive arrows. And by the way, the laser and the Iron Dome are not being used against those high range ballistic missiles. They're used against much closer rockets like from Hezbollah or from Hamas. And right now we really don't use them because luckily
drones,
those. Sorry?
The drones.
The drones.
Right.
Yes, but those two have learned their lesson, and so far they're not intervening.
So I see your argument here that if the launchers are destroyed, that's going to cripple their ability to inflict pain. Fair, but here's the thing: your theory is heavily contingent upon the Air Force finding these launchers and destroying them, and then that's assuming they find all of them and destroy them. What I'm saying is, they launch them and then they move. That is literally the purpose of them. They're mobile launchers. So as soon as they launch them, they're getting out of there, and then they reposition, put another rocket on there, shoot again. So, and they have thousands of these things all across the country. Iran's a huge country, right? And they have underground bunkers where they have 1 million of these things. So I think, realistically speaking, though I see your perspective, you're saying, yeah, we just shoot these launchers and we got it. Hey, that's easier said than done, man. So you guys are going to have to deal with some serious barrages coming soon. And as far as like only 30 rockets getting through from the 12-day war, or 30 missiles getting through, that still caused significant damage, even if we went off what you said. A bunch of strategic locations were hit, okay? Whether it's intelligence locations like the Mossad, Shin Bet, Oman, the Research Institute, a lot of strategic locations got hit, and the Israelis did everything that they could to keep this information from getting out there. I had to go and watch Israeli media for them to admit, yeah, we did actually get hit a bunch of times, because Israel is doing a really good job of not.
Yes, you're right. Israel admits the truth. Israeli media reports on the truth.
There's a reason why ILTV didn't go live covering the war until hours after it started.
Not live. Live is giving information to the Iranians, but after the fact, every place that got hit was on Israeli TV. Now, look, I happen to drive not far from Mossad headquarters almost every day. I can tell you that for sure Mossad headquarters was not hit. Okay, so all this nonsense that you are hearing,
dude. They don't have just one base. Every intelligence.
I'm not going. I'm really. Few locations got hit. Some of them are military installations. Some of them civilian installation. Some of it completely, wasteland. Okay, so few places indeed got hit. I'm not denying that some missiles got through and managed to create a lot of damage. I'm not denying this. But the fact that you think that Israel is completely gone, you are explaining very well why the Iranians are making the mistake. The Islamic regime of Iran is making a mistake, because they are listening to people like you, and they are listening to their own propaganda, and they imagine that this is really what's happening in Israel. This is the core issue. If they would understand how strong is Israel, they would never try to do what they're doing now, bringing their own demise. That's really the problem.
Can I please respond as well? Can I please respond real quick?
I'm finishing. Israel would
assassinate Trump. What the F are you talking about? This is
good to keep this information from getting out there. I had to go and watch Israeli media for them to admit, yeah, we did actually get hit a bunch of times, because Israel is doing a really good job of not.
Yes, you're right. Israel admits the truth. Israeli media report on the truth.
There's a reason why ILTV didn't go live covering the war until hours after it started.
Not live. Live is giving information to the Iranians, but after the fact, every place that got hit was on Israeli TV. Now, look, I happen to drive not far from Mossad headquarters almost every day. I can tell you that for sure, Mossad headquarters was not hit. Okay? So all this nonsense that you are hearing...
dude. They don't have just one base. Every intelligence...
I'm not going... I'm really... few locations got hit. Some of them are military installations, some of them civilian installation, some of it completely, wasteland. Okay, so few places indeed got hit. I'm not denying that some missiles got through and managed to create a lot of damage. I'm not denying this, but the fact that you think that Israel is completely gone, you are explaining very well why the Iranians are making the mistake. Not the Iranian, I'm sorry, the Islamic regime of Iran is making a mistake, because they're listening to people like you, and they're listening to their own propaganda, and they imagine that this is really what's happening in Israel. This is the core issue. If they would understand how strong is Israel, they would never try to do what they're doing now, bringing their own demise. That's really the problem.
Can I please respond as well? Can I please respond real quick?
I'm finishing.
Won't talk about the guy.
Iranian revolution, but also the head of the Wilayat al-Faqih. In that process, a lot of people are either very happy or very sad. So we've seen happy protests in Syria and in countries that have suffered from the Iranian regime, and at the same time in those similar countries, people who were close to that regime are mourning the death of the supreme leader. This entire attack has reshuffled a bit the positions on the top of the
because he was convicted of treachery, right, of selling
ourselves up for no reason to benefit a foreign country. It's not about thousands of soldiers being killed and Tucker being wrong. It's about we're putting ourselves in a position where that can happen for no strategic benefit. That's the difference.
But Myron,
hold on.
No, AB.
Can I respond?
AB,
go ahead.
My turn. Thank you.
Go ahead.
You're right on some points. I'm gonna.
Aren't you supposed to be the moderator?
Yes, but I also have the right to intervene when I feel that it's needed. You're right on some points. I'm not arguing the points that you're giving, nor what AB is giving. You two are debating, and that's right. The question right here is that I wanna come out and ask is, you are speaking from a position that you don't want US to be involved in any conflict. Okay, am I right?
Not involved in any conflict. That
the debate.
There was a part where he
I'm name dropping people that are.
We are an ancient people. We've been in this
and have always been against Sharia and Islamists. And people like you should be deported from the US, not be people who represent America first. Your time is up, dude. Either assimilate or get the hell out of the West, because you don't belong.
Again, Jaleh, I get your points.
And I just my last point, and I'll go. My last point is, he knows what he's saying doesn't have anything to do with the reality. This is just propaganda. This is the regime's chicken game. Game of chicken. They just want to go, be these tough guys. And we're not falling for it anymore.
All right, James, let me ask her a question, because I'm trying to engage with her here, since she wants to be this way. Jala, can you tell me what strategic benefit the United States gets from getting involved in this conflict? Go ahead, since you're so America first. Please tell me.
First of all, I'm not America first. I live in Denmark. I was born in Iran. But of course, this is good for America. The Iranians tried to, or not the Iranians, but the Iranian regime tried to kill Trump. They were trying to assassinate Trump. What the F are you talking about? This is an enemy of the United States, have always been an enemy of the United States. The Iranian regime has been conducting so many plans to kill politicians on Trump's team for years. What are you talking about? Wake up, US. You have people like this who are not...
Jaleh, now we're
Jaleh,
turning
calm
into
down,
battles.
Jaleh.
I'll let him
Yes,
answer.
I will not do it that personal, but good luck with people like him if you want to keep him.
Yeah, so, you know, it's interesting that she says this because she said you need to be deported. Little does she know that I used to be the one that used to deport people. I've actually served my country. I was a federal agent for several years, literally catching terrorists, to include people from the Iranian regime, so I actually understand the dangers that Iran could pose. But what I will say is this: us getting involved in a conflict like this doesn't give us any strategic benefit, as you just proved right now with not being able to name anything. Meanwhile, you're over in Denmark, you know, probably rubbing your clit, happy as fuck that we're getting involved in a conflict where we're going to go ahead and bear a lot of the...
This time,
I will do that in a
Stop
minute.
it!
Okay, this time.
Wait, what she said? She said she's gonna do that. She said she's gonna do that in a moment. I listened to this conversation the other night and I was like, what the F?
Assassinate Trump. What the F are you talking about? This is an enemy of the United States, have always been an enemy of the United States. The Iranian regime has been conducting so many plans to kill politicians on Trump's team for years. What are you talking about? Wake up, US. You have people like this.
This time.
About the Gaza.
This time we're going too far. No more personal attacks. I'm gonna stop.
About the Gaza thing.
Assassinate Trump. What the F Trump's team for years with people like him if you want to keep him.
Yeah, so, you know, it's interesting that she says this because she said you need to be deported. Little does she know that I used to be the one that used to deport people. I've actually served my country. I was a federal agent for several years, literally catching terrorists, to include people from the Iranian regime, so I actually understand the dangers that Iran could pose. But what I will say is this: us getting involved in a conflict like this doesn't give us any strategic benefit, as you just proved right now with not being able to name anything. Meanwhile, you're over in Denmark, you know, probably rubbing your clit, happy as fuck that we're getting involved in a conflict where we're going to go ahead and bear a lot of the...
I will do that in a minute.
Okay, this time we're going too far. No more personal attacks. I'm gonna stop the personal attacks.
Oh my god, dude. Okay,
points,
okay,
I'm gonna
that's it.
stop the discussion and move to something else.
I was listening to that the other night and I'm like, what the hell? Did I hear that right? Anyway, I'm gonna get off, man. Thank you guys so much. I can't believe it's like daylight coming up over there. It's so weird. I mean, I understand, you know, but it's like bizarre world, the opposite side, the other side. I feel like around like late, early morning, like 3, 4, 5, 6, something like that, things happen. Tomorrow at 8 a.m. is going to be a press conference, I guess, or they're going to hold a news conference. And yeah, I think that's it. That's it, man. I'm going to get a couple things done around the house. I'll be around. I got some things in order, man. All right. But yeah, thank you so much. Please hit the like button, subscribe, turn on the bell notifications. Rumble. What's up, Rumble? We got to do some premium lives too. I don't know when, maybe in a week or so when this cools off or something. All right. Bye, guys. Peace. Loop, 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 loop. Adios, muchachos. Oh. Loop.